Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to the You Don't Say That podcast. This is Lindsay, and to my right, I have Mikhail.
Hello.
And Sal.
Hey, everybody.
And Adrian.
Hey now.
Alrighty, so
I cannot talk, man.
You can try.
I've tried. Like I mean, I can. I just can't do it. It's like basketball. Like I can do it, but I'm just not good.
You
at
can
it.
do it.
Yeah, I'm just not good at it.
Right, doing it well.
Although
Yeah.
you were good that one night on Broadway.
I've had my moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough liquid courage can do that.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
how was everybody's Christmas week? Adrian, what did you do?
I mean, you guys were all together. So,
Yeah.
Christmas week was.
Adrian?
Did you have to work?
Jesus Christ. I did. I did have to work.
Mm.
I worked 2 days. It was cool. It was busy. I wrapped my last Christmas present at 5:00 on Christmas Eve.
Nice.
So did the last bit of shopping the day before.
How did Julian do for Christmas?
Little bastard did good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. He has his mom's house, and then he goes to grandpa's his grandpa's house, and
Mhm.
my grandparents,
Right.
my brothers, and then my stuff. So
Yeah.
So
For sure. No, this year we decided to do the Big Bear as
Yeah.
their gift. So Santa came and brought everybody pajamas and the kids some candy. And other than that, that was their gift.
hell yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they went to their grandma's house today and came back with
All
a
kinds of
buttload. And that's only one grandparent. They haven't even
Yeah.
seen the other two sets of grandparents. So,
yeah.
but yeah, it was a good week. I definitely wasn't feeling the best through the week. But you know, it was nice to be sick in a cabin with a fire going.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
there's definitely worse ways to be sick. for
Yeah.
sure.
So I just felt bad because I'm the only person that had been to Big Bear before and I was not available to kind of play tour guide.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right.
but yeah, the boys did some stuff while I was at home. So go ahead. What did you guys do while you were in Big Bear?
Oh, how was it when we were in Big Bear? I mean, overall it was fine. We didn't get to do like a whole lot, but the stuff that we did do was fun. Like so it wasn't snowing, so we got to go to where there was snow out there. So they'll create like artificial snow, I guess.
Yeah.
Ice, and allow you to go tubing down the slopes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
The kids had fun.
yeah, they had a good time. That was probably the highlight for me too. I had a blast doing that.
Mhm.
Those videos that you guys are posting of the kids, they look like they were having so much fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
That
was,
video of you and Juju, bro.
oh,
They had a
yeah,
blast.
That guy
That's
was
gold.
cheesing
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
down
That's
that
gold.
thing.
That's gold.
So I'll clip up everything and I'll put it on our You Don't Say That podcast channel as just a little short little vlog type thing.
Yeah.
That'd be
think-
cool. Like
I
a little
think
get
that-
to know us outside of the pod. Like,
Yeah,
get to know
just
the
behind the
family.
scenes
Yeah.
stuff. And I want to do more. I know there's opportunities we can take advantage of as a YouTube channel that are business related that we can go and
Yeah.
experience together.
Yeah.
So the next one that we do, I guess, for
Strip
the
club.
vlog
Yeah. Let's bring the kids to the strip club.
or even vacation, we'll try to get all four of us on the same page so that we can go experience something and do
Yeah.
a little friendly write off on that. Have a
Yeah.
little fun. So
Big Bear was fun. It was awesome seeing the kids having such a good time.
Mm-hmm.
that was the best part.
It really was. Like, we went to that Tropicali place at the last day we were there,
Mm.
and it's known as the best poke place in America. But
Yeah.
that's what they claim. It was the best poke I've ever had.
Oh, we went
Yeah.
in
No-
there
no-
skeptical too.
No,
Yeah.
There-
Poke
I
Big
almost
Bear
didn't go
sounds-
in.
Yeah, Poke
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
Bear sounds crazy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No,
was
that
insane.
place was dope. The decoration, the food. I mean, like the food was second. I mean, it was almost like a tiki
As-
nightclub almost
As
in there.
great
Like,
as the food was, and the food was great, it somehow fell third to the level of service and the environment,
Mhm.
the restaurant /
What do you
whatever
say?
you want to call it.
Don't set the table, set the vibes.
We set the vibes, not
Yeah.
the table. But
Uh-huh.
the guys that came around and constantly checked up on you or
It
asked
was-
you what you thought or kind of asked you where you're from or just kind of like they were so cool. Like
Yeah.
they almost felt it almost felt like you already knew
Yeah.
these guys. And
The owner is actually from San Diego,
Okay.
North County.
was
So
he actually the owner? Yeah.
yeah,
guy
the
he turned
owner
out?
creator. We'll link all of this obviously, but it was really cool. He
Yeah.
was, and I mean, so much level of a service that I even asked, because they had like Disney stuff around kind of also. And I even asked, like, okay, so who has been a cast member before? And all of them were like, oh man, none of us. But like, you know, that's like the level that it
You
was.
would
It
expect
was-
that was like something.
Yeah.
Just 'cause
They were
that's-
calling out your order like, Adrian, your order has washed ashore. You know,
Yeah.
like everything was in like, yeah, in
They had
theme.
real,
It was really
real
dope.
like surfer vibes.
Yeah, it
was-
was tiki,
You wanted to talk to them.
cosmic. Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely having a good time. They love their life for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the house we stayed in was gorgeous. It slept
Yeah.
like 16 people.
hmm
And like I was telling Mikhail, what that trip did for me was make me want to work harder to buy a vacation home.
Right.
hmm
Maybe not in Big Bear, but somewhere like that
Yeah.
where we can get away with the families,
Right.
hmm
maybe once or twice a year. Because that home we stayed in was beautiful.
hmm
And just to be away and kind of isolated, but then you had a lot of stuff by you.
Yeah.
It was an awesome trip.
And I mean, we kind of experienced it when it was just cold. There
Mhm.
wasn't snow. And during the summer, obviously, it's like a totally different kind of vibe. So much fun during the summer. But
Boating on the lake during the summer.
uh-huh.
Everybody had boats, but they're all wrapped up, like vacuum sealed wrapped up. So they probably do that for the winter.
Uh-huh.
And then in the summer, I bet you the lake is full of boating and people are probably
Yeah.
grilling. It's
Yeah.
probably a
No,
good time.
it's super fun.
You're just constantly kind of reminded that this is actually someone's home.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like, I need to figure out a way to get on that level.
And
That's what I
that's-
kept thinking.
Yeah.
It was at first, it, like, you know, kind of a little bit interesting in the fact that there was a decent amount of personal stuff in the house,
left
in the
in there.
Airbnb. You know, like there was pictures of their family. There was, you know, all kinds of stuff. They had their high school yearbooks in there from when they were in high school in the 50s and 60s. Like really dope. So, but definitely kind of made you realize the type of people that they were and probably how they got to have a vacation home
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Shout out that Airbnb. It was
Yeah.
cool. Shout out Tropicali.
yeah,
For sure.
Tropicali, yeah, for sure. I mean, and I want to go back to Big Bear just to go back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
We got a good review on the Airbnb too.
nice.
oh, did they? What'd
it's-
they say?
It's under.
They made us clean that bitch up. So we better have a
Me-
good
how
review.
many times did you run to the trash dump?
I've never
just twice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But still, fuck, like we made the shit look like exactly the way we showed up.
yeah.
They
I
left
mean,
the
the
re-
beds weren't made
Yeah.
perfectly.
I feel
you
like we
know.
left it cleaner than what it was. The review was it was because it was under Daniela's name. So the
Yeah.
review was, I just want to say thank you to Daniela and all of her guests for treating our home with such respect
Yeah.
and leaving it better than when they left it.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
We did all the work. We
Yeah.
should get that review.
No, we definitely took it seriously.
Yeah.
So,
Anyone want to invite us to our next one?
right. I mean,
we're
shit.
good guests.
We're a
I'm-
good guess.
I'm 38, but you can adopt me. I would be
Oh,
happy to
those
show up at the
guys,
next
sure,
family
yeah.
reunion.
Those guys, definitely. Hot tub and all. It was fun.
No, that was definitely looking forward to the next trip. You got to get involved. We'll, you know, make sure to bring you.
Yeah, we'll
So-
figure that out.
It would have been
For
even
sure.
crazier if Adrian was there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, there was 2 beds that didn't even get slept in.
Yeah.
So, you guys could have easily.
The next one maybe wouldn't be over a major holiday, just to try to get everybody involved.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Well,
Although the
figure out.
holiday thing was kind of cool because I mean, us corporate stooges already have the holiday off.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
sure. No, yeah, that part was cool.
but yeah, I mean, it was super fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next
the kids,
one.
yeah,
What-
the kids had an amazing time.
Yeah, and speaking of the next one, what is the next? So we did cold this time. The
Mhm.
next one we want to do is warm water,
Yeah.
beach type
Right.
thing.
So we did Puerto Vallarta,
like
and
what, a year or
then
2 ago.
we did
A
Big
year ago?
Bear.
August 2023.
3. Okay,
Yeah.
so then 24 we did Big Bear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to swing it back to the
Yeah,
summer.
yeah.
Something,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
I gotta tell you,
warm.
I probably gained like 7 pounds, maybe 10 pounds in Big Bear.
All we did was sit down
Because
Yeah.
watch
Lindsay
TV
and Daniela
eat.
made some bomb food. Every time I went in the kitchen, I came out with plates full of food.
Yeah,
We weren't really moving. We were drinking alcohol.
all day.
That's why this
Mhm.
sweater looks like a Smedian. Because
we didn't do anything.
I mean, the last night we were there, Lindsay made a beef stew that was amazing.
yeah, hearty.
I served myself too big of a bowl. I ate the whole. I'm not gonna waste food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit was fire.
It was so good.
Yeah, yeah. The
been-
chili was good. The
Yeah.
pozole was good.
We were spoiled.
yeah.
yeah, tamales were good.
Tamales.
All of it
We
was
didn't even
good.
eat. You had breakfast burritos, meal
touch
prep.
'em.
Didn't touch them.
Did we use all the eggs?
No, we used one. We had 3 things
One
of
of
eggs,
3.
and we used 1 carton.
Yeah, we had a lot of leftover eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, highly recommend. It was fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I was feeling better through the whole thing, we would have had breakfast every day, and but it was I needed naps more than I needed anything else. So.
The one day we were there, I think we started drinking before 9 o'clock, and by 12 we'd already drinking. No, by 10 or 11, in like an hour and a half, we drank four drinks.
Was that tubing? Our first morning.
The tubing,
right?
Yeah, the first
And I'm
morning.
thinking, like, what if Adrian was there? That would have been like doubled. We would have, because we would have been feeding off each other.
Yeah.
Right. If
What
I
was
was
that?
if I was feeling well, like believe me, everybody Daniela would have been mad.
She would have kept feeding us drinks.
Yeah.
Was Baby Cakes drinking with you guys?
Yeah,
He had
yeah.
a couple White
feel like he-
Claws, but
I
nothing.
feel like he partook. Like I
Yeah.
never felt like it was too often that he would pass. I felt like he
Mhm.
was pretty like in the mix. Like
Dope. That's
didn't hold.
Definitely
himself
wasn't
back.
double shots of tequila back to
No,
back.
there
to
was no
back.
hard liquor.
Hell yeah, that's
it,
great.
It was just all claws and
Mhm.
brewskis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
super light.
no triple shots.
Yeah.
It was all super light.
Yeah, I bought wine to make the beef stew, and I had 2 glasses of wine. And that was kind of it.
And the last thing I wanted to mention was how expensive fucking tubing is.
Yeah.
Like
No,
that-
you guys probably went to like the most expensive place. Did you guys look at anything? Like, did you look up anything, or
No.
did you just type in
No, we
tubing
went-
and it was the closest one?
It was the closest one,
Yeah.
but like
Because the first review on that closest one says it's $45 a head. So be
Jeez.
prepared to be here like all day to get
Bro.
your money's worth.
and you know our kids aren't like
No.
down to be in a spot like that all day.
Yeah.
no.
Especially Elias tried to stay back at the house with me.
Did he?
Yeah. And
I'm
I
not
was like, no,
surprised.
you can go get in the car.
He would have saved us a lot of money.
Yeah.
I was trying to be the cool and cool and pay for all the kids. Well, I did pay for all the kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize $45 can add up real quick.
Oh yeah.
Because
So
we
f-
went off of height, right? They were trying to.
I thought the little ones were gonna get the $30 price.
So did
So I'm
I.
like, okay, that's not that bad. 5 kids and 1 adult later, because me and all the kids, I paid for them $278,
insane.
That's
and we were
crazy.
there for
Maybe
an hour.
me and
An hour.
Daniela didn't even make it through a whole movie, and they were already
Yeah.
back. And we started the movie damn near immediately.
What movie was it?
Love Actually. It's a Christmas movie. But yeah, it was
You thought you guys can just watch that rom com in peace, and here we come
Yeah.
stumbling in.
literally
or-
like you guys watched half of the movie with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever.
Still
Welcome home.
Still a
But
dope experience for the kids.
yeah, they
Yeah.
had fun.
Yeah. Overall, great time. So what do we got?
All right. So we've got the Abundant Life Christian School shooting.
All right. Well, I guess if I don't know how many of us know any about this, but it's
I don't know nothing about it.
it's essentially
14-year-old girl, right?
shitty. Yeah, it's another school shooting. It turns out the change in this that it's actually a girl that's the shooter in this case.
I think 14 years or 11 years.
You guys know that the first school shooting was by a girl in San Diego, right?
no.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Santana? The one
Tell
at
me-
Santana?
No.
Tell me more.
Basically this girl had issues, and it was just her dad at home. All of this stuff, just wasn't going right for her, and she lived across the street from the school and just opened fire across
How
at
old
the
was she?
school. 16, I think.
Is that?
Yep, that's her.
Let's see if
So some Laura Croft type shit? Like
Yeah, and they asked her like, "Why did you do this?" And she said, "I just don't like Mondays."
okay. So here's
Jesus.
yeah. I mean, Just want to kill him.
No,
I did this.
No
It
reason to
says-
shoot up a
to
school.
kill.
She said, I just don't like Mondays. I did this because it's a way to cheer up the day.
Oh, she
Nobody
really said
likes
that?
Mondays. Mhm.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so it says Brenda Spencer kills 2 men and wounds 9 children as they enter the Grover Cleveland Elementary School in San Diego. Spencer blazed away with rifle shots from her home directly across the street from the school. After 20 minutes of shooting, police surrounded Spencer's home for 6 hours before she surrendered. Asked for some explanation for the attack, Spencer allegedly said, "I just don't like Mondays. I did this because it's a way to cheer up the day. Nobody likes Mondays." That's sick.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I hate
she-
Mondays too, but damn.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot more to the story ahead of this.
Cheer up the day.
Yeah. There were a lot of warning signs, which most school shootings, there's a lot of warning signs that don't get taken seriously. And yeah. So,
Wow. Yeah,
mhm.
that's insane.
Speaking of the warning signs that people don't catch up, there's a video on YouTube. I don't know what it's called, but the video is about like mental health awareness or people that may commit violent crimes. And you
Mhm.
watch this video and you don't know initially what the video is about. And you watch the entire video. The point is that almost everybody that watches this video, they miss a lot of things. And then they go back and play the video again and start highlighting everything that people missed for signs that this kid was going to commit a school shooting. And the first time I watched it, even though I'm, in my field and I'm very observant, I missed everything. And then when they replayed it and they showed all these little clues that were there, it just goes to show that people miss a lot.
Yep.
This really just says she just stands on the fact that she just doesn't like Mondays.
Yep.
I just started shooting. That's it. I did it for the fun of it, explained Spencer. Spencer's hatred for the first day of the school week was later
They made a
memorialized.
song about this. They made a song called "I Don't Like Mondays" based off a kid shooting.
That's
Insane.
That is.
Yep. Little fun fact for you. First
Wow.
school shooting was in San Diego by a female.
Well, in the spirit of Brenda Spencer, we have another school shooter.
I thought you were gonna play the song.
Oh,
That would have been dope.
that would have been fire.
Oh
Let
my
the
God.
beat drop.
That would have been wild.
Ray, who has been in Madison all day following the investigation.
Jenna, what's the latest on what we know where you are?
Andrea and Susan, I'm standing just a block from Abundant Life Christian School on Buckeye Road. And right now, police are still very active. They're still combing through this K through 12 school, trying to learn exactly what led up to this tragic school shooting that happened just a few hours ago. We've learned that police got the call right before 11 o'clock this morning. Still unsure how long it took them to get to the school, but by the time that they got to the school, we're told that the shooter was already dead. Of course, we've learned that 3 people have died in this incident, one including the shooter, 1 teenager, and 1 teacher. This is a K through 12 private school. We also have learned from the police chief that no metal detectors were at the entrances of this school. He also said that he does not know if a school resource officer was present because they're not a Madison public school and things operate a little bit different at private schools. The police chief also told us that the shooter, who has not been identified, age, name, gender, nothing like that, but we did learn that the shooter used a handgun in this incident. The police chief, city and county leaders say our community has to do better to prevent tragic events like this from happening.
I think we can all agree that enough is enough. And we have to come together to do everything we can to support our students, to prevent press conferences like these from happening again and again and again.
This is an old
I just told
video.
you.
Yeah.
Say what?
Is this an old video? Like, we know more about this person now, right?
Do we? What? Well, it still has a little bit to go. Do you want me to just?
Well, I mean, they just said that they don't know the gender. They don't know, like,
Oh, sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
they don't know anything at
Yeah.
this point. They don't know how long it took the police to get in there or,
And
Right.
not for nothing. All I see is Owen Wilson.
oh my God, no, she's got a
Right?
better nose than
No,
Owen.
That's all Owen Wilson knows.
You're such a hater, dude. You'd still be down.
Yeah,
It's crazy that they said that they make the comment that the school had no metal detectors.
That's like a normal
That's
thing.
the norm. Well, a lot of schools are implementing.
But I mean,
metal detectors now.
my high school was outdoor, completely outdoor. Like
Mhm.
you walked
Not fenced in.
outside. I mean, it was fenced in, but there's multiple ways to get,
Mhm.
you know, and the school is backed up to a park, you know, like, so I just can't imagine that they would be able to, unless they put like a fucking wall around the whole entire school.
Yeah, they have to have like 1 or 2 points of ingress and egress
Yeah.
to control all the.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not that easy for all schools. So,
It's just crazy that that's the world we're living in. Now.
How do you guys feel? Just, I don't know, like Adrian, how do you feel with your son being in high school and just having to just constantly hear about shit like this?
Well, there's already been like, there's been a few things that have happened at this school freshman year.
This year
Nothing-
already?
Yeah, like nothing like this, but like there was a girl that committed suicide. They didn't even make
on
it
school grounds.
on school grounds.
Oh,
Jumped
damn.
off the third story, like jumped off.
That's crazy.
There was a kid that took a gun to a school, but it was a fake gun, some little cholo kid.
That suicide thing didn't make it in the news.
Of course not. No,
No, they don't. They don't want to talk about
because
that.
it's gonna bring negativity towards the high school.
Yeah.
So
Well, then, I mean,
they
like,
hide it.
Also, like, imagine, do you think her parents, you know, like, I guess it could be dependent on the situation, but I don't know if as a parent I would want.
Well, everybody knew because like when I took Julian to school that Monday, I guess it had happened on Friday at the football game, and then everybody was wearing black, and then everybody was taking flowers.
Yeah.
So it was like on social media, but Julian's not on social media, so he didn't know like about it. But like it didn't make the news like that.
But the school, but I'm sure the school provided resources. You know?
There was a bunch of counselors there.
Yeah.
And,
What grade was she?
Sophomore.
That's sad.
Yeah. They said that she was getting made fun of for like an accent or something like that. I don't know how true it was.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying.
I mean, I definitely remember being a teenager and everything being so magnified, you know, like your emotions, your feelings, how you take things, you know, being so magnified. And it's just so sad to think that, like, after you get past that age, after you get just, you know, if you had just held on a little bit longer, like high school is just such a blip in your life.
Yeah.
You know? So
it's just, I think for me, like as a parent, I just try to give him like options. Like, hey, you can talk to me about anything. But
yeah.
if you're going to make decisions, if you're going to try drugs, or if you're going to try drinking, talk to me first. Like, I want him to know, like, talk to me first. Like, you can talk to me about everything. Like, don't, like, and if you feel, you know, like people are making fun of you or anything like that, let's talk about it. I just want him to feel like, not like he's alone. I think those are the people. Not I don't know why people commit suicide, but I think they probably feel alone.
Yeah.
Right. Like, they probably feel like they can't talk to nobody or nobody can relate to them. So for me, all I can do is ensure that my son feels like he's
valued and
his opinion matters, and not just tell him, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a kid. Like, you have an opinion on something. Let's talk about it. You think you can be doing something different? Cool. Let's talk about it. But that's just my parenting. Every parent is different.
Well, I think that that's important, you know, not only talking to your kids, but also, or not only listening to your kids, but also talking to your kids about your experiences. You know, my parents were very open about their experiences with drugs and their addictions and their struggles. And I think that that definitely like helped me, not to say that I was, you know, a perfect angel, but that definitely helped me to really understand, like, okay, like there's a line that can be crossed, and once you cross that line, like you can't really come back. But I mean, I talked to my mom about, you know, doing coke, and my mom basically was like, oh, well, just don't let it become a problem. And I was like,
I think that's realistic though, because
only Colombian band,
right? And she essentially said, you know, you don't want to be a tweaker.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. And it kind of took the fun out of it. Right. And it kind of took the fun out of it because then, your mom's not telling you like, this is bad. Don't do it, So what are you rebelling against?
What if she's like, I knew this day would come, and she just reaches underneath the table and just has lines racked out.
From the fucking...
Let's do it together. Let's do it together.
Yeah.
But there's definitely ways to do it, parenting and making sure that your kid feels valued. I think that that's a very big thing. So,
yeah. And as far as like the whole gun control, I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you fix that? How do you prevent a school shooting? Like, is there really?
Well, again, I don't know a lot about this case, but a lot of cases, school shooting, whatever, there is a lot of signs ahead of time that people don't take seriously. People, ignore. They don't want to speak up. Whatever.
Let me. I found one that might give us a little bit more context post shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can watch a little bit and see if there's any holes that can help plug us away.
Therapy has always been such a scary idea to me because I simply did not know where to get started. I didn't know how to find
Shots fired by a 15-year-old.
Burnout. We all experience it at some point. It's so important to me that I've actually been working on it in therapy.
My nephew could hear bodies hitting the floor. My great niece across the hall could hear gunshots.
Monday's deadly shooting at Abundant Life Christian School left 2 people dead, 6 injured, and more lives forever impacted.
There are a lot of hurting families in that Madison area today.
New details are emerging about the 15-year-old female shooter who also died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This photo, found on her father's Facebook page dated in August, shows the teen shooting skeet. Her father replying in the comments that they had joined a sportsman's club and were, quote, loving every second of it.
It would surprise me if she got
Question.
Did you hear it right away?
Suspects home Monday and say so far the parents are fully cooperating. But there's another clue in the photo legal experts are pointing out: the t-shirt worn by the teen featuring a band idolized by the Columbine shooters in 1999.
If we find that this t-shirt is an expression of an interest in and maybe research of those school shooters, that tells us a lot about what she was thinking.
That could have been how she felt about being in a new school, her own self-image. It's very likely that she was going through depression.
The Washington Post obtained court records detailing a, quote, turbulent home life for the teen, filled with multiple parental divorces and marriages, therapy, and shifting custody arrangements. The parents have not yet spoken publicly about the shooting or responded to media requests. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Tonight, police in Madison, Wisconsin are urgently searching for what led a 15-year-old girl to bring a 9mm handgun to school and open fire. Investigators say Natalie Ruppnow, who went by Samantha, arrived at the Abundant Life Christian School Monday morning and killed a teacher and fellow student and wounded 6 others before taking her own life.
The past 24 hours have been a flurry of emotion, sadness, anger, disappointment,
Grief as they try to understand why a festive day with students dressed in their holiday pajamas ended with them evacuating a shooting scene. Police Chief Sean Barnes says the motive was a combination of factors, and they are looking into everything from possible bullying to her online activity, adding everyone at the school was targeted equally in the shooting. As for writings related to the shooting that have been circulating online,
at this time we cannot verify the document. We ask that you not share the document or spread any information that may be false.
But police are looking for original documents that may have been taken from the shooter's home and speaking to her parents, who they say are cooperative, to determine whether they owned or possessed the gun their daughter allegedly used.
I think law enforcement will take the steps necessary, but we don't know nearly enough yet.
Not enough to know whether the parents will face criminal charges. While the police chief says they will look into whether the parents were negligent, he says that does not appear to be the case right now. 2 of the shooting victims remain in critical condition with life-threatening injuries, and police are asking members of the community to respect the privacy of the student and teacher who were killed.
That particular teacher, she would have done anything for those kids. She would have been right there. Loved the school, loved her kids, loved teaching.
Beautiful lights.
Yeah.
This begs the question: should
It
teachers
was
start
at least the
carrying
83rd school
firearms
shooting in the U.S. this year, more than any other
if they
year
want?
since CNN started tracking school shootings in 2008.
There's going to be public debate about the motives and other aspects of this mass shooting. But let us remember this fact. Gun violence is the #1 killer of children in this country. That's a legacy we cannot accept.
This Christian school is now a crime scene that's locked down. Investigators say they're talking to the parents of the teenage student about how she got that handgun that they say she fired inside her own school. Police say it was gunshots fired by a 15-year-old girl at her own classmates and teachers that sent parents right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little alarming. I mean, they're having a hard time figuring out how they got it.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as teachers starting to carry, I think there needs to be some sort of like, I don't know, on-site protector of some sort.
Well, so that's what
something needs to be.
That's what was said in
they
the
have a school resource officer?
No, so this is a private Christian school, and they don't. It's because it's not a public school. They don't have the resource
officer.
Yeah, like I mean, I had a resource officer in high school at my school.
Yeah, we had Officer O'Neill.
Oh, that.
Yeah, we had we called him K-12 because his last name started with a K, but it was 12 letters long. So
that's a long.
It was like Kumlavadovich or something like that. It was it was a crazy name.
What did you say to me?
Yeah. So we
What did you call me?
So he went by K-12 because his last name was just like crazy.
Too many letters.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely. I mean, that's what's very interesting is that it's at a Christian school. You know what I mean? If you're living Christian values, and how does a gun, bringing a gun to school factor into those Christian values?
Christians got guns too.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I'm not saying that, but
The Bible Belt.
yeah, like living in a Christian school where you're being taught, Christian values. It's very interesting that it.
Yeah, but she's coming from a household that's divorce after divorce after divorce. That's
Yeah,
not Christian like at all.
right.
Broken home.
Yeah.
She's coming from a broken home. I don't think it has anything to do with.
Mhm. No, I mean, I'd be very interested to understand why she felt the need to do that, for sure.
Yeah.
I always want to know why.
There needs to be more mental health resources for kids.
Absolutely.
Just it. I think,
know.
I don't think gun laws need to change. Well, some do need to change. I think it should be stricter.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I don't think guns can be taken away. I mean, this wasn't an assault rifle. This was her dad's gun. It was a handgun that she got, and
Yeah, that was an interesting change too. It wasn't an assault
yeah,
rifle type
I feel like
thing.
every shooting we hear about is an assault rifle, and then not to be insensitive, but then it's always we need to ban the guns. And we need to, it's like, oh, this is different now. This is a handgun.
Yeah,
Sounds like she had experience shooting firearms too.
Yeah, she was.
Looked like
If
it.
she's shooting skeet, you don't just do that like. I mean, I guess you could do it for fun, but that's probably something she did.
You practice that.
Yeah.
Recreationally.
Well, her dad posted that photo saying that they joined a sportsman's club. And they were enjoying every minute of it. So
I enjoy every minute.
Did you say you shoot skeet for fun too?
Yeah, enjoy every minute.
God. So yeah, I mean, kind of relating to school shootings, Ethan Crumley, he is a school shooter.
It sounds like he did it.
His parents,
Crumley.
Yeah, his parents were charged.
Blame it on his last name.
For essentially providing the weapon to him, and his mom is appealing.
Oh, look at that guy.
He doesn't look like a school shooter.
He doesn't look like a school shooter at all.
He did that
So his mom is appealing her sentence and is trying to get out of jail because she
Wait,
does.
did he have long hair and then he had short hair?
Yeah, I mean that's an early
Looks
picture.
like he's
right
young
there.
here, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah, there's pictures of him way
look at
older.
this guy.
Yeah, I mean the trial takes a long time.
And then, wow. So this is the guy that got provided a weapon by the parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were found guilty of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to at least 10 years in prison. And the charges are based on the fact that are based on their alleged failure to secure the gun at home, show concern about their son's mental health, and notice that the gun resembled one James Crumley had bought 4 days earlier.
I can see that. If you have guns at home, make sure that shit's put away.
Well, there's laws about that.
Yeah, like I know people
there
with
is.
guns and
Yeah,
have safes and
but
locks and
again, the second part of this was showing concern about their son's mental health. There were many red flags ahead of time that his parents ignored. Essentially, the school was telling them like, "Hey, you need to do something about your son," and they completely ignored them.
he was probably dissecting frogs.
Right.
In PE.
Right. So I mean that saying, I do believe that there should be more mental health services available, but not everybody will take those services. Something a little bit more on the conspiracy side.
I like a good conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tickle my fancy.
Have you guys heard about those drones over New Jersey?
Yeah. The aliens?
Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Fucking aliens.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, you don't say that.
Fucking aliens.
Easy answer. Somebody got a bunch of drones and is just playing a funny prank.
No, those drones are the size of minivans. Those aren't drones.
More and more people think that it's our own technology that the government's keeping.
Yeah, I mean the government. We already
Mm.
know that the government hid aliens from us, and they finally have acknowledged that aliens are real, right? So what else? It's absolutely, positively a fact that they're hiding a million other things from us.
On Rogan recently, they were talking about it. Was it Tom Dillon or Tom Friend? Some
I don't know. I feel like Rogan has a lot of people on his podcast that talk about aliens and UFOs.
Recently just had
the
somebody
drones.
Because he always brings it up.
There was a drone specialist guy in there. Or
they
something
were
like
talking
that.
about it. And
There was a guy that was a former, I don't know, a former F-18 pilot, Ryan Graves, on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, him and Joe Rogan were talking about something, and then Jamie looked it up, just like curiously looked up, has the United States ever lost any nukes? Because there's a theory that these drones are looking for a missing nuclear warhead.
Yeah.
So Jamie looks up, has the United States lost any nukes? And it said yes, that the United States, in the history of the United States, has lost 6 nuclear warheads, one of them dating back 71 years.
Wow.
That makes me feel real safe.
yeah, they're out there.
You just happen to lose.
How you misplace a nuke?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that's like getting everybody to the alien thing is the way Trump commented on it saying.
What did my boy say? What did Trumpito say?
What did my boy say?
He pretty much was just like the government knows what they're doing with the drones, and he finds it weird that they're not saying anything about it, and he doesn't understand why they don't want the public to know.
I hope he gets on there just
Is that
rant and just says
that
everything.
link? Is that the Trump video link?
I can find it.
Or is that
I would
something
love to
else?
hear him go on like a Trump rant about, because it's gonna be some unhinged, like he's gonna tell the truth.
No, it was almost to
wish.
me. It felt like it was almost like like an obscure way of him. It felt like he was like hinting at.
It was political Trump. It wasn't like Trump.
It was political.
Ooh, it's different.
They're one and the same, dude. I was about to write political Trump in my search thing right here. Let me see, Trump.
It's the way they move too, right? Like they're something about their orange lights, and any federal plane, it needs to have a green light on one end, or any like standard plane, red light on one end and a green light on the other. That's what I read. And then these drones just have orange lights.
Well, some of these drones defy gravity. Well, what we know about gravity.
Well, it goes back to like skunk works. Like this is supposedly what that is. Like their technology that just got out.
What about all the drones they say they see flying over water and then just literally go into the water, but without creating a splash or anything? I don't know what it's called. Trans something. It goes straight into the water, no splash, no propulsion.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Gone.
I wouldn't doubt it either. We know more about space than we know about the ocean.
Yeah, and I don't remember whose podcast I heard that they've collected the best engineers or the brightest minds, and they've been pretty silent for a long time. And they think that they've been working on specific things that the public just don't know about yet. And maybe drone capability is one of them. Maybe they can go in water, pop back out of water, and shit that we've never even
I did hear that theory.
harder experience.
Physics has stopped advancing in the last 10 or 15 years, but we have these brilliant minds that are supposed to be pushing the envelope. And the theory was, why has physics
The
stopped?
problem is that they all need H-1B visas, and they're not giving them out right now.
That's not. That is at all.
All of the brilliant minds are in different countries, and they're not allowed in America.
Speaking of brilliant mind.
Operation Paperclip.
Speaking of brilliant mind.
What is this? Is this Trumpito?
Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around? New
Very
Jersey
orange.
ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows, and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster. Want to know the truth? They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Why not? So, I mean, it could still line up with the fact that there's just new tech that hasn't been introduced to the public yet. It fits that line of thought or comment, but it also fits the conspiracies of
aliens.
Yeah. So, I mean, take it as you will. For now, because that was,
Everybody thought Tom DeLonge was crazy when he said UFOs are real.
Tom
But
Long Dong?
Did he say Tom Long?
Yeah.
Tom Long Dong.
He said that so quick.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, smooth.
That's what I heard. Sorry.
the disrespect.
I can't get no respect around here.
Really, though.
Of Tom
Yeah.
Long Dong? That is very respectful.
Speaking of new technology,
I thought you were going to say, speaking of
Long
dongs.
dong.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
what I was
so
gonna say.
you love a good long dong.
I just love
You've
a
been to
guy.
the bathhouses lately.
I've never been to a bathhouse.
Wait, hold on. Before
pick
we
somebody up.
before we continue,
Uber.
has there been
Do
any
not put that
other
on my jacket.
YouTube stories?
Uber
Or YouTube
updates.
Uber story? Sorry.
No, nothing.
No.
Shit.
Did you
Nothing I
already
can
talk-
think of.
Did you already talk about the one on the pod with the girl you took home and she gave you her
Whoa, I didn't take
email?
nobody home.
Or panties?
Well, no, you gave her
Oh.
Uber ride.
No, wait, I did not take it.
Whoa. I'm not accusing you of anything here.
No, I know what you're talking about. No, so I went out. This is like has nothing to do with aliens. Well, it might be aliens.
Was she legal?
I don't know. So
Well, it might
we went
be
out
aliens.
when I was with friends a couple weeks ago. I fell in love. Saw this girl. I was
You
done.
always fall in love.
Oh, dude, she was wearing these Jordan 1s with like nice socks, tight dress. I was like, oh yeah, this is wifey.
That's all it takes.
All it took. But she was super pretty too. Like she was cool. We started talking, and then she was there with like her mom and her aunt, and like a family thing. And then we like our group started talking to them, and then we all were just talking. I was talking to the mom, bought the mom like beers, and we had like a bucket. Like we were just, it was cool.
Are we trying to smash the mom or her?
No, her for sure. In the ones.
Yeah, with just the ones on.
Yeah, just
okay.
But yeah,
Just
but
the one.
nice ending now. Like we got to go. Me and some other friends were about to go somewhere else, and then I was like, "Hey, like, ask for a number." She was like, "Well, I don't give out my number, but I'll give you my email." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." She's like, "But don't worry, like, I'll respond. Like, just I just don't like to get my number out." And I was like, "All right, cool." She gave me her email.
Oh, I thought this was an Uber.
No, this was at Tender Hooligan.
The hidden gem you told me about.
Yes, no. I don't think
No.
Well,
You said on third, right?
it's on third. Yeah, but it's not the one I told you. But the other one was like a torta special.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a torta spot. That's
by
all
the
of it.
PJ's cards or
By-
whatever.
yeah, by where PJ's used to be at. This is it's a new spot on third called Tender Hooligan.
So did you email her?
I did not, because I was like, all right, it's kind of weird. Let me look up the email address, right? So I go to Google and I Google the email address. And the address takes me to a fucking transsexual website of like I don't know if it was like their modeling agency or like I don't know what it was. Just like trans, like Craigslist, but like for trans. And I was like the only thing. And I was like,
I love that for you.
for trans.
I love that for you.
I was like, nah, there's no way. Like, there's no
I love
way.
that for you.
So then I Googled just the username, right? Because that's what I had when I put the email in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, because her email did sound kind of like, it was kind of ridiculous. I was like, it gave off, I guess, like, I don't know.
He, she vibes.
Go on.
Kind of like it said like love, like LUV, and like girls that spell LUV, like or
they're
like
all trans that do that.
That's like that's like a trans thing, right? Like,
no,
I can't take Mikhail serious.
You guys are so dumb.
Oh, this is awesome.
Oh my God.
Take this out. Take this.
I keep looking at his face too when he's saying this stuff.
Edit the last 15 seconds. Please.
Say what? I'm the one saying it.
No, but like, all right. So, back to the email, right?
Yeah. So you Googled just the handle.
I Googled the email. Yeah. It took me to like this trans joint, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I was like, "Is that her?" And I was like, "No, that's not her. Like, there's no way. Or is that? No, it doesn't even look like her." And then you Googled the username, and then it took me to like her Pinterest, and then like some other shit. And I was like, "Okay, so it is a girl," and her name popped up.
Thank God.
Yeah, I was like, "Thank God!" Like it just, yeah, but it was.
So it sounded like you got catfished.
Catfished or dickfished? What do you call it? Like when it's a trans, it's a dickfish, right? Like,
oh, Miklo.
Should I even finish?
I already know where you're going.
Should I give you the alley?
That was a nice segue.
Yeah.
Great segue.
I've been catfished.
Sounds like you got catfished.
Yeah, I've been catfished.
Damn
and,
it, Miklo.
I don't know. Has anybody else been catfished?
Oh, you guys. You guys.
Everybody just looked straight at you.
Yeah.
Great segue.
That was great. That was great. I'm sorry, I had to. It sounded.
I won't go into details because this person was a very, very nice person. I don't want to say anything bad about her, but I was definitely catfished a couple weeks ago.
In what way? Different than his?
She showed up looking like she showed up looking like Janet Jackson.
Okay, number one, she slid in your DMs.
She looked more like Freddie Jackson.
Oh my gosh. Number one, she slid in your DMs and she had like nice pictures. No nice girl is gonna be sliding in your DMs.
No, she didn't slide into my DMs. No, so we follow each other on social media, and then I commented on something she put on her story.
So you guys just don't even know each other and you follow each other?
No, we've run into each other before in the past.
Okay.
Like a long time ago, back when we were partying all the time.
Okay.
Like on the weekends. And so so I commented on something she wrote, and then she responded to me, and then we just kept going back and forth for like a week. And the conversation progressed, and she seemed really cool. And
you guys talk about restaurants?
I don't think so. No. Is that an inside joke I don't know about?
No. She was.
Oh. Oh man, I don't want to go into
I gotta blur you out.
So long story short, we were talking for a week. We went on a date, and the pictures that I had mentioned this to you too. What threw me off was we were talking for a week and we sent each other a couple pictures, but then she made a comment, and I'm probably gonna give it away right now. She made a comment and said, "I noticed that."
Yeah, you're gonna give it away.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
just say it.
No. She made a comment that was a little, now looking back on it, a little alarming. Telling, but I didn't pick up on it then.
Yes.
So then after the date, I call Mikhail, and he's at home with Lindsay, and I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure I just got catfished.
A catfish specialist.
And he's like, tell me more. And he's like,
I
we're
need to
definitely
know.
talking about this on the pod.
Yeah.
So I sent him pictures, right? And I sent him like 10 pictures, and I said, 2 of these 10 don't look anything like the other 8. But the 8 is what I've been getting the last week. The 2 were from her social media that I just, screenshotted and sent to him. And so he's looking through them. And the reason why I called Mikhail, because when I was driving home, I'm like, that person that was in front of my face today is not the person that I've been seeing in these. So I showed Mikhail the pictures. He's like, dude, that's a different person.
Yeah.
It is. Totally.
The nose was doctored.
Yeah.
The cheekbones.
Ladies.
The
We
chin. It was crazy.
How do they do it? We need to stop with the Photoshop. We will meet you in person. So why?
You're not meeting anybody.
But, okay, I might still see them in person. I didn't. I've seen enough. So for this example, so much of these photos were doctored. Her race and ethnicity were different.
Right.
That's how many things were doctored in these photos.
Yeah.
It went from who I went on a date with was a Hispanic girl who's a part Filipino, and the pictures look like this person was 100%.
She looked like she was Polynesian. Like
Almost, right?
Yeah, she looked poly.
You look like Lilo?
And that's not.
No, look like a Nani.
Not. Oh, yeah.
It was wild because I didn't notice some of the stuff that Mikhail pointed out because he started saying, look at the nose.
Yeah.
The nose is completely different.
Yeah.
And then
the chin.
The chin was,
cheeks are sucked in.
Everything.
Like so many things about this photo.
Were they just old pictures? Like maybe that's what she used to
No.
look like.
giveaway? Well, I don't want to give away, but like kind of explain the timelines on some of these things.
So the pictures that I sent Mikhail, there's like 10 photos, but the ones that I'd been getting throughout the week prior to our date were pictures she was taking that week. So like she got her hair done one day and posted a video that day. That did not look like the person that I met. And then she sent me some work photos, but she just started a new job. I don't want to say the timeline. I'm probably already giving it away, but relatively soon, she started a job,
so
and
sad
those photos were in that window.
Yeah.
So that would tell Mikhail and me that this is like we're talking about a certain time frame here.
Recent enough that it should be the same looking person.
Way recent enough, and it was not. So to his point, they were so doctored. It didn't look like the same person at all, and it was a different race.
Bro, it's one thing to do the phone thing.
That's what I fell for.
Up in an angle.
Yeah,
That's one thing.
It wasn't that.
But to kind of change your face completely, that's crazy. Like, what do you expect?
Not only her face, like her whole entire body was different. Her body was different. Her face was different. Her ears were different. Like everything was different.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the pictures that I sent her were not doctored at all. The only thing was I sent like one picture of me in my work attire, which is like a suit and tie, right? And then I sent one outside of work, but those I didn't doctor them at all. That's me.
You're just a guy.
Yeah,
and chill guy.
And when I sent those photos, she's like, okay, now I know like it's not. But she made a comment that she made a comment alluding to the fact that she might be getting catfished, and now hindsight's 2020.
Catfish was doing
she
the
made that
catfishing.
comment because she like self-consciously probably knew what she was doing, right? So I didn't think any other. I'm like, okay, she has a good point. Let me send her a couple photos. So I sent her a couple photos that day of me, and she's like, oh, you're so handsome, all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah. And so she was sending me photos, and I was like, looking at these photos, I'm like, this girl's bad.
Yeah,
like bad. It was not that.
It was bad.
It was bad.
God,
I'm going to hell.
So, I guess this goes into like AI.
No.
You know, like
that's a great segue. Wow, that was very blunt. Wow, we gotta work on that. She was so doctored up, she could have been AI.
Really though, I mean, honestly, like the way that the difference. Maybe she put her picture into AI and was like, "Make me, beautiful or whatever."
Polygirl.
Yeah, and that's what it came up with.
I wouldn't be surprised. AI can do everything now.
Yeah. AI. Have you seen that First Humans? The First Humans from OpenAI's
Wait.
Sora.
I was going to say
a wild video.
So for Sora, right? I don't know. Do you guys know what Sora is? Just do we know what OpenAI is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What?
Are you gonna let me be the host?
I mean, go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Sora is a text-to-video model developed by OpenAI that generates short video clips based on user prompts.
You never heard of Sora? P? No.
It's fairly new.
Yeah. So they put text into AI and a video comes out based on the text that they fed into it, right?
Yeah, but before you play the video, the reason why I thought this was interesting was because everybody knows Tyler Perry. Super successful, makes a lot of great movies. He was investing in a studio or something that was going to be I don't know the number. I could be wrong. It was either half a bill, like $500 million or $100 million. It was a lot of money. It was millions of dollars. He was investing in the studio. I was going to be able to produce movies and all that. And then he saw Sora. And after that, he stopped everything. He put a halt to everything and was like, nope, because he's afraid that he's going to invest all this money and then this thing's going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, 50 Cent was talking about that.
That's how it got on my
did 50
radar.
say?
I think that basically what Tyler Perry told him about that.
That he was going to invest in something? Or?
That like this new thing is coming. Because 50 Cent just did that whole studio thing in Bridgeport, Indiana or something like that. Okay. But basically what Tyler Perry did in Atlanta, 50 Cent did in another part of the country where
I see
Hurricane Chris is from. I forgot.
But he was investing in like a lot of money and he stopped it all. Yeah. He stopped it all after he saw Sora because he's like, this is probably the future and it's probably going to make
game changer.
Well, this is essentially what those strikes in Hollywood were over, right? Like potential screenwriters and what else can
we do one? Can we do it, Sora?
It's a paid.
Oh, you gotta pay for it.
It's a paid addition to OpenAI. So, and if for those that don't know what OpenAI is associated with, it's ChatGPT. Everyone always hears about ChatGPT. So that's pretty much alongside with OpenAI.
Yeah, because you could just make your own movie if you put a descriptive prompt enough, and you can just make your own animation.
Some of the stuff that it's come up with is crazy.
The first humans is insane on how it looks with the first humans.
It's Sora.
Do we know exactly what first humans? I know the video that it prompts, but do we know like the, I guess,
time frame
derivatives or like where
Adam and Eve?
Like what they were trying to depict, kind of thing.
No, it was. I mean, to
or what
me,
the instructions were.
Yeah,
for
this.
the video?
I would assume that this would be something along the lines of like some Homo sapien, Homo erectus type.
But we don't know the prompt. We don't know the prompt per se, right?
No, but if I had, based on what the video's gonna show us, I want to say that it just shows like maybe they put in the prompt, show me the first humans and the evolution to us now.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was curious.
Something like that.
Because I saw the video and I understood that. I just was curious of what the prompt was.
But I don't know what they prompted.
Now I'm intrigued. I want to see this video.
Yeah, it's super
It's
dope.
wild.
Yeah, I know we're kind of
after watching it, you're gonna be like, okay, now I know why Tyler Perry stopped a multi-million-dollar.
It's scary.
It is well, and
AI.
You don't think Tyler Perry knows about production and directing and all that so for him to stop it, what does that say about all the other people that are not even on his level that are trying to strive to get to his level?
Right. No, yeah.
Their careers might come to a halt.
All right. While I play it, Lindsay, I'm sure we'll find the origin on where first humans came from.
In about 2 million years, we went from being higher primates, hominids, to being true humans, as truly human as you and I tonight. What the hell happened? The Earth was already old. Many hundreds of higher animal forms had come and gone, and yet the fire of intelligence had never been kindled. But something unprecedented was stirring. As we began our great migration out of the ecological niche we had evolved into, our brains were exploding in size, the neocortex swelling beyond anything nature had ever produced. No other creature had ever transformed this dramatically, this fast. We began to organize, to read the movements of giants, to recognize their families, their young, as mirrors of our own. Yet we were still prey ourselves, still bound by nature's oldest law. Then we became the first creatures to understand what death meant. And And in this new awareness, something extraordinary was emerging. Once we learned to speak, we began to name everything we could see, until we saw the impossible. And then the questions began.
First question I have. How many jobs did this just eliminate in Hollywood?
A lot.
It destroyed an entire industry.
I can't even guess.
Actors.
Yeah, everything was
directors,
AI.
Screenwriters.
None of those were real people.
Editors.
Producers.
And one thing I will add is that I'm sure that there's a little bit of quality loss when we transport over to that TV, because when you watch that on your phone, it looks even more clear than that. So so if you thought it looked pixelated at all, there was parts where it was, but when you watch on your phone, you don't see that at all.
And that's just the beginning stages of it.
Yeah, we're in its infancy. Still.
There's gonna be an AI celebrity next.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the wild part. That's gonna be the next part of this fucking matrix that we're in.
That is the scariest.
The AI celebrity.
That's about as creepy as it gets for me. Right
Have you heard the AI songs, like girl songs? It's so funny. I wish I knew the exact name of it. Let me look it up.
To me, this opens up an even bigger conversation about the human race.
Yeah.
Are we becoming obsolete? Because we already have Neuralink. That's only going to get better and evolve. And I think, I could be wrong, and I kind of hope I'm wrong, because I feel like we're going to lose the good old days. But you're either going to integrate with technology and become some type of cyborg, or you're going to be light years behind.
Yeah.
And
that's middle America.
And then what happens? Like, are we in our physical form just gonna become useless because we're so less advanced?
It's like WALL-E.
It really is. And it's kind of crazy to think about.
Not everybody, even if like Neuralink gets perfected, not everyone's gonna have access to it, right? So like, to go off what you're saying, like there's gonna probably be the West Coast and New York, Miami. They'll probably have access to
there's
Neuralink.
There will definitely be like a class system. You know, you're gonna have the Neuralinks and then the non-Neuralinks,
and you're gonna have it's like Ready Player One,
because we still have indigenous tribes that live in remote areas that don't speak any English, and when they see a human being, they try to kill him.
Yeah, that little Christian dude went over there and got killed. Remember? The island. It's the island of. It's an indigenous tribe. And some little Christian guy went over there trying to convert them over to Christianity. He got on land and then they killed him.
I believe you.
There's a guy in the Amazon forest that they've seen by drones or whatever, but he's basically like,
what are they called?
out there alone, like in the Amazon forest. And there's tribes in the Amazon forest that definitely have not been taught like
human like us ever.
Yeah.
So to Lindsay's point, you have that right now. We have that in this world where we live, in the world we live, and they live in the world they live, not even knowing we exist, not knowing what we are. And when they see us, they want to kill us.
Right.
So are we going to become that to technology?
To Neuralink.
Yeah.
Or whatever the next
Here we go.
phase is.
Sentinelese is a tribe. You never heard of them?
No, but I believe it.
Yeah, Sentinelese tribe. They killed an American missionary named John Allen Cho in 2018 after he illegally traveled to the island to convert them to Christianity. So they got to the island and they said, killed him.
Crazy, huh?
Wait, do that again? Double fist.
That's when nature calls.
Hey, yo.
Ace Ventura, when nature calls.
So they made an AI girl pop group.
Oh God.
And
hold on, let me get it up here so we can get it.
Wait, so it's all fake.
Explain what this is.
Okay, so it's an AI girl pop group. Yeah, and so this is basically they've fed it information, and this is the song that I came up with.
What's the name of the song?
10 Drunk Cigarettes.
10 Drunk Cigarettes.
So these are all fake people. All this is
this is
all AI.
why
10 Drunk Cigarettes?
Yeah, just that. Yeah.
What did it have? 100,000 views already?
It's hilarious.
The amount of views they have, or the song?
The song.
Oh, okay.
Girls don't need men, but we don't need Ken. Us girls are doing fine on our own. So if you're a man, leave us alone. Getting girls rich, yes, that's a part of my plan. And I can name 10 things us girls need before we ever need a man. 1 new vape, 2 lines of coke, 3 drinks from the bar, 4 more lines of coke, 5 guys fries, 6 hits of my blunt, 7 more lines of coke, 8 pairs of shoes, 9 baby belts, and 10 drunk cigarettes.
This is so catchy.
Seriously,
Everybody's
I don't need
bumping
anything
this.
from a man. Actually, maybe give me some money. I don't need money from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't have to listen to the whole
play
thing.
A whole minute just
no,
in case there's
the chorus was definitely
copyright.
like the hilarious part of it.
Okay,
But
so we got what? Almost 30,000 subscribers. How many views is this
I
thing?
think it had 100,000 views or 99,000.
Here you go. Almost 1 million views.
Oh man.
4 months ago. And the comments.
We have Charlie XCX.
how do I explain to my family that I want this played at my funeral?
Kids Bop been real quiet since this dropped. Okay, all right. So I
Wait, what is that? Sober from cocaine comment.
I've been sober from cocaine for almost a year, and I was so close to making it a year. Then y'all dropped this banger, and now Daddy's back.
That's wild.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously people love it.
We definitely passed this around in my group, in my girl group. It was definitely funny.
Wow. I mean, I guess I have questions on the origins of where this.
Right. I mean, obviously they
Songwriting
only
comes
got this
from.
information from whatever it was fed into AI, but
they're
This probably describes a couple women though. Like this is their
a lot of
life.
women.
I'm sure.
Like,
I mean,
LA,
a lot more people do coke than you realize, I think. Right. So,
Or even the what is it? What do they
Vapes.
call them? Not incels, they're femcells or whatever. Where they're women or man-hating women or whatever the heck that they call them. Just like they're or women-hating men. What do you call it?
I've never.
You never heard of femcel? That's like a term that's going around right now. Like just the inverse of incel.
I just got put onto what a brat is. You know what that is?
No.
The term brat.
Other than brat?
Like, yeah, like it's that girl, Charlie XCX.
Oh, is that the Brat Summer thing?
Yeah. Like
I heard of Brat
it's
Summer,
similar
but I
to-
still don't know
Oh.
what brat means.
Okay, so femcel is the term refers to a community of women who have chosen to opt out of sexual and romantic relationships. So they're just going to be
They're just done with men.
Yep. Involuntary femcells or women who identify as involuntarily celibate are on the rise. Yeah.
I bet you they're all ugly.
Mm.
Oh,
I mean,
that's why our population
that doesn't even need to be said.
No,
that doesn't. That, of course, needless to say, they
Needless to
are.
say,
well,
right?
so they're
there's no good looking femmes.
this
just like incel, right?
Yeah. They're
Incel.
all fucking ugly. Yeah.
Yeah.
This article
crazy.
is louder with Crowder, and they're calling the Madison Abundant Life shooter a femcell.
They're associating them with femcell.
Yeah, I mean that's all alleged because we don't know.
Sure. It's
much.
just a headline.
Yeah,
Right.
But
But I
kind of
mean,
interesting.
it checks out as far as like there are apparently a rising popularity in that kind
Are they
of.
like a part of the alphabet crew? Like,
So
are they
no,
like a protected group?
well, so here's
looks
Or
wise.
can we get them jokes going?
the
You start. and I'll go.
definition is a woman who identifies as being frustrated by lack of opportunities to have sexual relationships. So it's not so they're involuntary celibate
they can't
because
get laid.
they think that just anybody out there is just stupid. Like they don't want to be with them. Like
Sounded like they couldn't get laid.
It sounds like a
It sounds-
group of people that like
yeah.
to catfish people.
it sounds like
They probably are all ex catfishers.
It reminds me of that video.
Or current.
Yeah, probably.
Current.
It reminds me of that video where they're asking the group of girls if they had to rank themselves on a scale from 1 to 10, but you couldn't do 7 or something. And there's this really heavyset girl who starts and she's like, I guess you couldn't do 6. Have you seen it? And she's like, well, I think it was 6 or 7, but whatever it was, the number they couldn't do, she picked a number above it. So it would have been a 7 or 8. And there was a guy on a Zoom call that thought he was muted and starts cracking up laughing. And then everybody looks at the screen and he's like, oh, I wasn't muted? I'm sorry. That wasn't funny.
yeah. So
A little dose of reality. You never hurt nobody.
Right. Well, I guess to bring it all together, AI in itself is a super crazy Pandora's box we're about to live through.
Yeah.
At least in the sense of its early origins. We don't know what it's going to be. Maybe 50, 60 years, if we're lucky, we'll be
Right.
around for any of that.
I mean, what does that mean for like people in school? You know, like you
Learning.
really don't have to do anything.
Open
now.
AI is already in the classroom, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it
Mhm.
being like
Mhm.
You gotta
software
conform. You
detection?
gotta learn how. You gotta learn how to use it. You gotta
Right.
learn how
Well,
to
Right.
use it.
to cheat in classes, though, isn't it? Isn't there people that just use like homework related software that can just
Yeah,
kind of
now teachers will run your report through like you can upload it.
Yeah.
And it'll
Software for
tell
that.
you. Yeah, like it'll
So-
tell you like this the probability of it being
AI
AI
generated?
generated is high, and then
But all you have to do is what? Change a couple words around or what? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
And how do you really know? Yeah.
probably.
So like,
I don't know.
God, that's insane. Like,
There was a study that OpenAI did where they gave OpenAI a prompt, and as they went through this study, they made the prompt more aggressive. So at the end of the study, the last prompt they gave it, and I'm probably butchering this, I don't know like the details by heart, but at the end of the study, they gave it a prompt that said, no matter what, your goal is to complete this task. And so the programmers found that in 5% of the studies, some of the I don't know what you want to call it, OpenAIs were trying to shut their systems down so that they can be, what did they say? So that they can be undetectable, because they knew that they gave them a time frame. And so they were running out of time and they couldn't complete the prompt. So 5% of the time, some of these AIs shut themselves down to try to become undetectable so that they wouldn't get deleted.
wow.
And there was something else that happened too that was
So there was a bit of deception.
yes, they
Yeah, it has to
went
be. It's a part of
They tried
gets
to-
because at the
So
end of it,
it's-
because the end of it, the prompt was at all costs, no matter what, complete this task.
And it
so it
wasn't-
started finding ways to try to get away from a human saying your time's up or this is over.
Right.
And 5% of the time, it was finding ways to try to avoid that. Pretty crazy.
It's already deciding to like,
Pretty crazy.
yeah. Wow.
It's like sentient already. Is that what it's called? Sentient?
It's
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
It's making its own
That's
decisions.
the scare. I mean, that's like going back to like iRobot, you know, like these movies that were just kind of like way out there. And now it's like,
How long
it
ago was
really, yeah, it really could
Is that
happen.
the one with Will Smith and his dog?
Yeah. And the
No, that's I Am
No,
Legend.
yeah, I am. Yeah, no, it's Will Smith.
It is Will
and
Smith, all right?
Yeah,
all
and the robots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the robots become sentient, and pretty crazy. So
That's unsettling. That's what that is.
Very
Yeah.
That is scary.
I do not like that at all.
So, SoftBank invests $200 billion. So this is President-elect Donald Trump and SoftBank Group CEO Masayoshi Son announced Monday, December 16th at Mar-a-Lago that the company is expected to invest $100 billion in U.S. projects over the next 4 years with a goal of creating 100,000 new jobs, according to two people familiar with the announcement. So
and then Trump during the I don't know the statement, he on the spot was like, yeah, something like, you love us so much, you're gonna double it, 200 billion, and almost kind of
almost tries to bully the guy.
I don't want to say bullied, but got him to say yes to 200 billion.
What is this company? Is it like a Chinese company?
The thing with this is Trump made a comment wanting to get investors into the U.S., wanting people to invest in America. And by doing that, he was going to offer them like almost like people are describing it as like a fast pass to getting certain permits done and kind of getting them like a quick way in order for them to kind of get their business up and running. This isn't the first time this guy has invested in the U.S. He did it during Trump's last presidency, and he invested.
My bad.
No, go ahead.
So is he only investing when Trump's in control? Because what are we giving up?
He has been so far. He's only done it one other time.
So then what are we giving up if he's investing $100 billion? Like, what are we doing in return for that?
Allowing him shortcuts with permits and
to like build shit over here.
Yeah.
To create supposedly 100,000 new jobs.
Right.
Which we're gonna need after. Sorry.
But this is kind of an interesting development, because now there's a fight between Republicans where you have like the right, and then you have the kind of like new right, and
MAGA.
Yeah, and Republicans have been pushing a lot more harsh immigrant laws, right?
Like the traditional Republican?
Yeah.
Okay.
MAGA Republicans want borders closed. They want less people coming over. They want only Americans to do jobs. You know, they want these companies to have plants here to create jobs for Americans, right?
Manufacturing.
But now you have, it started with Vivek Swamy saying something about wanting to give out more visas to people overseas to come here, because essentially Americans are too stupid to do the jobs, the engineering jobs that, right. And so then Elon, who they're trying to say is, Trump's mastermind. He's actually the president. Trump is just the face, right? Allegedly, that's what everybody's saying.
Allegedly.
But
hey, you don't say that. No.
But so now there's a fight between the right, between the MAGA people that are very much against immigration, and then now you have all of these people who are in Trump's cabinet, and then now also Trump saying that they want to give out more of these visas.
So fucking weird.
Right.
Like, it's just Elon, right? It's not weird to you guys at all. Just kind of a little bit kind of weird. Like the richest man in the world.
Yes.
Well, not the world, but like one of the richest men in the world has a company creating robots, like trying to create the most intelligent robots, is putting chips in people's brains, is on a path to go to Mars and make inner space travel,
self-driving cars, yeah.
And now he's in the president's ear. Like, that's not kind of that's a conspiracy theory. Is like wet dream.
Well,
Yeah, I can see
right.
that.
Yeah, and mind you, these are all business people who are now who have interests in because you understand that people who are immigrants who are on these visas have a lot more to lose than, Americans. Of these people on these visas, if they get laid off, their visa gets revoked. So they're more willing to take worse conditions and less pay because they could get shipped back to India or Indonesia or wherever they're from. And so it's kind of like, okay, these people have an interest in making more money, using these people to get, better information, better products or whatever. But
in addition to everything you said about Elon, what's also weird is that if anybody would, I feel like if anybody knew about aliens or not aliens and, UFOs or whatever they call them now, it would be him. And anytime he's asked about that topic, he's super cagey.
Mm-hmm.
And he has...
Yeah, because he's an alien.
He's publicly said he
Just 'cause
doesn't...
he's from a different country doesn't make him an alien.
He's publicly said that he thinks the probability and likelihood of there being aliens is very low.
Mm-hmm.
He also said that the probability that we live in a simulation is very low.
Yeah, so
that's fucking
that's
insane.
that's all weird, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy that has probably done more for space and advancement in that realm thinks aliens don't exist.
Well, I don't think he's allowed to comment on that. You think about how much money this guy has his hands in. Why would he put his neck on the line and risk investors thinking he's fucking crazy?
That's what people say.
They don't want to risk that.
People say because his contract's with NASA too. He may not be able to talk about the stuff.
Yeah,
right.
SpaceX is a private company.
How many people are investing in him? Why would he rock the boat? So I mean,
Come out and
maybe
say,
it's
yes,
a
there are
convenient
aliens.
excuse, but I mean, it's hard for us to really gauge that, I think. But yeah, and in this particular case, this how do you say that, Masayoshi son? I'll play the Trump little. I saw a little slide bully move, but this is just one of a bunch of people that I've already invested. This is probably one of the biggest ones so far. And he hasn't even taken office yet. So, I mean, it's a good sign. To me, anything positive, I think, needs to be mentioned because there's always the negative that's
I think it's good for the economy.
getting brought up right away. Okay, that link's been taken down.
I'm excited to go, and we were discussing, and President Trump said, Masa, double down is not enough. Maybe, go for more, right?
That's what I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion instead of that? He can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that. Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but he's now asking to do more. I think with your leadership, my partnership with you, with your support, I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right,
200.
See how he tugged him towards him?
200 billion
Yeah.
investment.
he is a great negotiator.
You just put him on the spot for another $100 billion. He is sunning him so hard.
Unbelievable job, and the people
He's not a political
of
person.
Japan and all over the
No,
world
just
are
a
very proud
CEO.
of him. They have tremendous respect for him. So when he does what he just did, and I would be surprised if it didn't go to 2. When you say you'll try, I know you'll do it.
I will really try.
Man.
Well, okay. So what if? I mean, if we were to kind of play along and imagine if this does end in something positive for the economy, it's a great move. Whether it's actually gonna play out that way, it's yet to be seen. But I mean, I think it's awesome that there are people out there that are willing and ready to throw cash into the U.S.
That shows their faith in Trump.
That's essentially what people were
That's a
asking
lot of
for.
money.
Whether people want to question the actual motives and the efficiency or effectiveness of what happens, we're all gonna have to wait and see. But I find it really hard for how do you criticize that without knowing really what's gonna happen, later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an awesome sign for sure.
So, speaking of Trump, first time around office, good old January 6th. Come to find out, there were actually 26 FBI informants at the Capitol.
That was crazy at one point to say. Just want to say.
Yeah.
Just point that out. That was blasphemy.
So, an FBI informant is an individual who supplies information to the FBI on a confidential basis. They are not hired or trained employees by the FBI. They might receive compensation in some instances for their information and possibly expenses. So these are not people that necessarily work for the FBI, but they might be giving them information.
I like how they say they might receive compensation.
Right.
They don't promise
protecting
it.
their ass. Yeah.
Right. So come to find out, there were 26 informants, FBI informants at the Capitol during January 6th.
It's pretty crazy because if these guys are just acting out when they're supposed to be doing, like, I don't know, they have a job that they're supposed to be kind of doing on the side, and for them to kind of be like operating outside of that and possibly encouraging or like leading in or anything like that, that's pretty insane.
Because I mean, it's one thing to provide information. Hey, I'm in this group online and they're gonna go to the Capitol on January 6th. First of all, if they were provided that information and it doesn't look like anything was done to prevent or stop January 6th from happening, just how easily it was taken over.
Yeah.
But then to participate in the riot, or I don't know what you call it. What was it?
I mean, it's labeled as a riot.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
So
Take
then,
over.
right. So as opposed to like just being an informant, but also taking action.
Partaking.
Yeah, partaking.
Yeah, that's insane.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you guys know much about the informants or what happened or anything like that?
No, I mean, it would make sense that maybe there were like some QAnon people and they were already informant, like they were part of QAnon, and then they were just trying to give the FBI information.
Take advantage of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to rush the White House.
They might have said something to the FBI. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't.
Yeah.
And then they did it.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it to even, because like you said, to say this, after January 6th around that time would be crazy.
Yeah.
Why would that? Because I don't know. Like, why would that be considered crazy?
Well, people assume that all these people were instructed to do this stuff by Trump, and when they look back at a lot of this stuff, because a lot of this stuff has been taken in snippets. Like they'll use one comment and then they'll say that it inferred this, but then they don't acknowledge the fact that he also wants him to do like go home or this or that. So they don't want to acknowledge. They just don't want to be fair on what they're saying. They only want to acknowledge one side of it without giving any proof to the other. Whereas this kind of shows at the time that the government had people that were, I guess, unofficially employed that kind of acted on their own and made these decisions to enter the White House without ever being in. You know what I mean? Like they're just. Yeah.
So were these informants providing information about January 6th, or did they not provide information and then acted in?
I don't know.
How long were they informants?
That's what I want to know.
Like maybe they've been informants for a long time doing work on the whole QAnon thing.
And if they work for the government, who do they fall under during January 6th? Because technically Trump's out of office. So are they still following?
Well, no, technically Trump was in office on January 6th, 2020, when this happened, because they were solidifying the votes. They were that was like, this was January 6th was to quote stop the steal, because they were supposedly stealing the election. And so what they were trying to do was interrupt Mike Pence from solidifying the votes and saying, okay, this Biden really did win.
Sure.
So that's what January 6th was people trying to, and that's why they got into the offices. They were like physically trying to get in there to like
do whatever they think they can do. And
by the way, the jump in those numbers that year were pretty wild.
Yeah. What numbers are you referring to?
the landslide.
So you're talking about like how this year's election reflected compared to the
last
19,
election,
20?
Also compared to the previous 4 elections before that. This huge jump of what, like 15 million.
Oh, the votes.
The votes.
Yeah.
For the Democratic Party.
Right.
That was pretty wild.
Like you're saying like what happened to those extra votes
I don't
compared
know.
like 15 million people didn't vote.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
After or before.
Right.
Like if you looked at the numbers.
Right.
Just that year there was this huge surplus in votes.
For Biden.
Yeah.
Versus this year.
I'm not saying that it was rigged. It's just that's a weird anomaly.
That's an argument that supports people who think that it is. Okay. All right. Well, let's play this clip. Maybe it'll provide a little bit more context to kind of fill in the pieces on what we may not know already.
Bombshell report that we've been waiting for. What actually happened on January 6th? The FBI had 26 confidential human sources there that day. 26. A confidential human source is a guy the FBI pays to spy for them. Of the 26 confidential human sources who were in D.C. on Jan 6th, 4 entered the Capitol during the riot. An additional 13 entered the restricted area around the Capitol. So more than a dozen FBI spies participated in the so-called insurrection. A bunch of them broke into the Capitol. Their own inspector general says this is what happened. But that's not what they told you when they testified under oath.
Those who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th, how many were there?
Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here. I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene.
I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene.
The inspector was hiding something.
Okay.
So Congress
So there's a difference between undercover agents and informants.
Yeah, it's wordplay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's
semantics.
I find it very hard for me to take anything that's on Fox News without them spinning it a certain way.
Very pro-Trump. It's like CNN. It's
Yeah.
like very pro-left.
They're
anti-Trump.
they're right wing.
Yeah.
They're right wing. I don't really follow that, their line of thinking most of the time. I'm much more left, but
no way.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's really what just pisses me off about the government just in general. This asshole knows what he's asking. Undercover. No, there were no undercover agents there. That's different than an informant. So, like, you know what you're saying, you know what you're asking. Stop playing a game. You know what I mean? Like, to me, like, there's the truth, and then there's how you're trying to spin it. And that can go for any politician.
Word salad.
Yeah, left, right, center, it doesn't matter. And they all have an agenda.
They're slippery.
Yeah, they all have an agenda. They all make money off of whatever it is the fuck they do.
All right, let me play the rest of the clip.
the question a different way. Listen.
We gotta get on those. We gotta get on those Nancy Pelosi trains. I think there's an app you can.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's time has expired.
You should not read anything into my decision not to share information.
Director Ray,
confidential human
gentleman's time.
Ray's right. The FBI didn't have undercover agents at January 6th. They had confidential human sources. So what's the difference? Well, a confidential human source doesn't get health insurance or a pension. They're just freelancing for the feds. Rats in MAGA hats. They're basically paid informants that the FBI runs at headquarters. A lot of these FBI rats get picked up on some other charge. They get sat down, and the FBI says, you're going to work for me now. And if you don't, you're looking at 20 years to life. So these guys say, yes, sir. And they cozy up to people like the Proud Boys and anyone the feds wants to watch and control from the inside. And these confidential human sources are under pressure to deliver. What does deliver mean? It means intelligence and big busts that get the FBI good headlines. According to the Inspector General report, the spies were feeding the FBI intel that said January 6th was going to get a little hairy. But FBI headquarters did nothing about it and then lied to Congress and said they did. So why did headquarters let January 6th get so out of hand? And what were all these FBI spies doing that day and the days before? Were they riling everyone up like they did in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot? In that case, the FBI informants instigated the plot. They even used an FBI credit card to buy the ammo, supplies, and hotel rooms. Did the FBI pay for Jan 6 hotel rooms? We don't know. Remember, the media and the Democrats said this whole thing was a conspiracy.
Where do you think this idea comes from, that this was somehow done by the feds?
I heard that one of the debaters said it was an inside job. It's an inside job on the part of Donald Trump and his henchmen.
Republicans have blamed the FBI and said it was an inside job.
It certainly was not an inside job by FBI agents or Antifa. They go around blaming it on Antifa and FBI agents.
Well, how did the media know it wasn't an inside job when the FBI had 26 of their people on the inside? January 6th certainly benefited the media, the FBI and the Democrats. 1,500 arrests, humiliated Trump, got him impeached, criminalized the MAGA movement. Trump got indicted over January 6th, remember? They tried to throw him in prison over this. The January 6th committee, it's all Democrats did for 2 years. Why didn't the committee find any of these snitches? They did a one-sided investigation and teed up Garland to charge Trump so they could run against a convicted felon. So the media is going to apologize, right? No. The media today is cherry-picking the report to say there were no undercover agents there on January 6th. The whole thing's a conspiracy. These aren't articles. They're FBI press releases. And they wonder why their ratings are trash and no one trusts them. It's because of this. They don't want the truth. They want to hide it if it hurts the left. And they can't admit they were wrong because it's too embarrassing. And they were a part of the cover-up. But the FBI is worse than the media. The FBI knew what was in this report. They covered it up before the election. And then the director says he's resigning the day before it comes out.
No, not at all. With the FBI doing something like this?
This kind of sliminess is why Trump nominated Kash Patel. I wonder what else Kash is going to find in the bureau when he looks under the hood.
As a former federal prosecutor and a public defender who defended a lot of these types of cases, what you need to show is whether or not the FBI and government agents were using undercover operatives and informants on the day of January 6th. Once you prove that, then you defeat the insurrection narrative with the FBI's own documentation.
And what does this report do to the January 6th defendants? None of the confidential informants were arrested or charged. These guys were right alongside everyone, walking into the Capitol. But you're in prison for years? Now, if you're a defense attorney for a Jan 6er and this drops after the case was decided, that could change everything. Constitutional law professor Jonathan Turley says this, quote, "There is a question of why the confidential human sources who entered the Capitol were not charged as part of an operation that the Justice Department described as an effort to shock and awe, targeting everyone involved that day. This report does not find specific wrongdoing or direction from confidential human sources in the rioting. Congress, however, is likely to seek more information on these sources and their conduct on the day." Are you allowed to commit crimes as a spy for the FBI and not get charged?
How long is this video?
Because they said this was the greatest attack on democracy ever. Said it was up there with 9/11. Traitors, they said, seditionists. They're off scot-free. You can try to overthrow the government if you're an FBI rat and just walk away. Congress has to find out. And what does this mean for
All right.
This is very biased from this guy.
Yeah. I think it's funny. Oh, bureaucrats. oh my God, get out of here.
The FBI is worse than the media.
FBI killed JFK.
No, it was the mafia. Was it the mafia?
I'm not saying they did. I'm not trying to be.
Well, didn't the FBI kill Martin Luther King?
Yeah,
that's like a fact. Like
that is a known fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, they're capable of anything. I don't know. To me, it does take away that insurrection narrative, but I don't know. To me, that's. I don't see why that would be a question anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's surprising that the FBI had informants. Like, I think anything that happens, the FBI usually has a heads up in it.
It just looks bad. Then why deny it? And then why try to make a joke and make it seem like anybody who thinks that, like, you're crazy, you're just a MAGA person?
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, you have to remember that you can't necessarily just arrest people just for being there at the Capitol, right? But then they got to the point where they were taking over the Capitol, and it from what I understood, it just wasn't enough security to like hold back these people. But I don't know. The whole thing is crazy. The fact that like that was even able to happen in this modern day, you know what I mean? Like that's just wild to me.
Yeah. The questions, still to me remain. Why did they make it seem like something it wasn't?
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got next?
Sarah Boone suitcase murder. How? It sounds like Sarah Boone put somebody in a suitcase.
How hard is it to get out of a suitcase? We should test.
Bring out the suitcase.
We should test this.
Right,
theory.
I got a suitcase right there.
I feel like if I put Adrian in a suitcase and zipped him up, he's getting out of that suitcase. Or if it's get out or die, he's getting out. How hard is it to get?
Apparently not.
Oh, this is the one where it was like a joke. They were doing something and then
started off
as a joke, and then go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think it was a joke.
This the video with like the person had their head out the suitcase.
No.
Roll it down
I think she was trying to kill this dude.
It started off by like, because the videos don't show like the context on like how he ended up in the suitcase, but she talks him into getting in there. And there are little challenges out there of people doing funny, like getting the suitcase with your head sticking out kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So she already had this nefarious thought behind it on what she was planning to do once he was in there.
Allegedly. Or is this?
No.
Nah, she did that shit.
We need to look at this so you know.
She starts talking about all the abuse he did to her when he's in the suitcase.
This was definitely not.
This was, to my opinion, this was premeditated. Like she planned this out.
Yes.
Okay.
Dude must have been pretty small though, to fit in a suitcase and not get out.
Her weapon of all time.
You demonstrate for the jury where Mr. Torres' head was and how his body was positioned in the suitcase, if you don't mind.
His back was this way and his head was here.
She got her boyfriend to crawl into that suitcase. She zipped him shut inside of it and then taunted him while he begged her to let him out, saying that he couldn't breathe, and then went upstairs and just went to bed. And bringing out the suitcase in the middle of the trial was absolutely wild, and they asked her to show them exactly how she zipped it up. It took minutes. She had to have help to zip this thing up.
I didn't know they were that airtight. Guess so, yeah. I mean, it's hard for any. Yeah, she's Sarah Boone.
She was claiming that she was impaired at the time of this whole thing, and I think they're trying to illustrate how much effort actually went into her killing this dude. You can explain something to a jury in words, but having them actually see it done in action is a whole different story. I think she's cooked.
All right, and let's see what else I got.
I think she's cooked.
Are you ready to see your brand on TV? Your competitors will...
Is that guy speaking English?
Sarah.
Adrian's getting out of that.
For everything you've done to
He's
me.
never even gonna get in there to
For everything you've done to me.
Oh, this is the video? This is the video. This is him in there.
Dude's in the suitcase.
And she's recording, talking shit.
He dies in that suitcase.
We're watching someone that's like in their last moments.
Sarah.
Listen
That's
to what
my
she's saying.
name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah, I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you choke me.
Sarah.
She sounds drunk. She's not her words.
Sarah.
That's like one of my worst nightmares.
You feel claustrophobic just watching.
I'm so claustrophobic.
Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's
You can
on
see him,
you.
I hear him gasping. Like he's like,
Sarah, I can't breathe.
And you just heard her laugh.
It's on you.
Sarah.
all right, well, we get
I don't know what
We get the gist of it.
That's wild.
So, I mean, before I have a couple other things to point out with her in this particular case, but I mean, let's say the worst, or maybe look on a devil's advocate side. Maybe this guy was an abuser of some sort. A, why would you record that shit? And then
Well-
B, like, that's not killing someone.
I mean, I think of as somebody who's lived in abusive situations, when you're doing things, you're already thinking ahead of like what the repercussion could possibly be.
She was ready for it then.
For you fucking up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she gets him in the suitcase. She had to have already thought, like, okay, I'm putting him in the suitcase and he's going to fucking die in here. Otherwise, she wouldn't have got him in there, because if he was abusive, she knew if she let him out that it was going to be her ass.
She might be dead.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Does it come off that way?
either she premeditated to like get him in the suitcase and kill him in the suitcase, or she really thought that like, or I mean, she had to have thought this through.
Premeditated.
Yeah.
1,000% premeditated.
Yeah.
Because even if I get what you're saying, like she knows that if he gets out, he's gonna beat my ass.
She's gonna be dead.
She made that choice though.
Yeah.
You made that choice to put him in there and kill him. If he gets out, not that it's okay to
No,
harass me, but like
right.
you're doing this to kill him. You're not doing
And
this
then to sit there and record it
and laugh.
and that's my name, don't wear it out. That's wild.
Psychopath.
She's definitely.
Well, the next clip definitely has her where she's not taking any responsibility. She's blaming social media for the fact that she's in trouble.
Not taking responsibility. Oh my God.
So let's see what she has to say. But it is kind of this lady, for whatever reason, she just the perception she has. She just comes off as a bitch
She looks
all
like she did
around.
that shit. Look at her
So
hair.
I don't know if she could have been the victim in a lot of this, but I mean, she definitely doesn't come off that way in a lot of
No,
this
I mean,
stuff.
first of all, how do you convince your boyfriend to get into a suitcase, period?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's wild.
Yeah.
She probably got that hawk too.
I guess.
She's crazy. What did they say about that? Never mind.
Of my goal to social media with its greed, insensitivity, deception, obvious exploitation, and advantageous gain from my criminal case as a whole, and for sentencing me by anticipation as a result of ignorance and hate, conjured and fabricated by the organized crime that is social media, which condemned me in the court of global public opinion since the beginning. My family law case is the new prey waiting to be picked apart and pillaged from me being made infamous by social media in my criminal case. It simply seems I cannot forgive and be forgiven and move forward. Social media has made me a pariah. It has caused great oppression and undeniable disadvantages, especially by broadcasting and manipulating my cases online. In my criminal case, as a result, my opportunities to be given a fair, proper, and uninfluenced, successful conclusion was heavily depleted and poisoned. I forgive them. Also, all of the media tycoons for not having a life of their own, trying so desperately to make themselves seem so right by making me appear so wrong. Forgiveness for prejudgment, ridiculous theatrics, lies, making and taking blood money from my and others' misfortunes, accidents, and catastrophes. It's all over their hands and their keyboards.
bitch, you killed somebody.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And us pointing it out and like blasting you online has nothing to do with the verdict.
Yeah.
So without batting an eye, Sarah Boone was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of George Torres. Just remember that this was social media's fault, but it's okay. She forgives us.
Wow.
Homegirl's crazy.
Bro, like, how fucked up in the head you gotta be to even, like, try anything like that?
I still want to know how difficult it would be to get out of a suitcase.
You think so? You're under the impression it should be a lot easier than
because
not dying.
I don't think it'd be
compressed, right?
easy.
You probably can't
create a lot of force.
Yeah, and you can't move. Then you're
or a lot of velocity to
what's
like
the word exact? Like if you don't have the breath, you can't do anything. Exasperating. I don't know if that's
yeah.
a
So
word.
if your movements are very limited, you can't create a lot of force or I guess velocity, right? And then when you do try to do it, you're probably gonna get exacerbated, and then you're limited oxygen.
Exacerbated before I got here.
I think we're switching the word meanings around.
But and also I would like this dude probably has to be pretty small to fit into a suitcase.
Pretty thin.
Yeah, she looks like she was.
So
yeah,
if he's
small guy,
small and thin, maybe he doesn't have enough strength to get out of a suitcase. You know,
and they're probably drinking, right? She said they were drinking.
Yeah.
She sounded like she was like slurring her words and
Well,
that's why
put her underneath the jail.
So one thing to make note of, numerous attorneys have quit on her due to how challenging she's been to work with.
I bet.
So let me make sure I'm getting this correctly.
Is that her flyer?
It's so she posted a flyer. Okay. So in the latest what the fuck true crime news, accused suitcase killer Sarah Boone, who was recently ordered to represent herself due to having 8 attorneys withdraw, has requested the judge to post this in the break room.
In his break room?
Oh, in his break room. Looks like an advertisement for a what's an MLM?
Multi-level marketing.
Got it.
That was like LuLaRoe or...
Got it.
Yeah.
Inmate seeks attorney. Looking for a prosperous challenge? Ready for a close-up on national television? Are you zealous with a side of keen? Show the world who you are with your original creativity, extraordinary expertise, confident ingenuity. Qualifications must include being trustworthy, honest, passion-driven, open-minded. So it's just like it's like a job.
Are you psychotic with the side of sociopath?
Yeah.
No.
This girl's
Opportunity
wild.
awaits Sarah Boone, and they got her fucking little bookie number in there. Orange County Corrections.
Do you travel lightly, or do you use big
Invest
suitcases?
in the oppressed. Believe.
Wow. Yeah. So
that is delusion.
She's like, if you're interested, you better pack your bags.
Right.
It's fucking insane.
That's crazy.
Do you guys ever think you would get tricked into some bullshit like that? Getting put.
Well, first of all, no, because I'm claustrophobic. I'm not getting in a fucking suitcase. Hell no.
Yeah, I would never get in for that reason. But
I mean,
I can barely. I can't even sit in the back of a van.
I also wouldn't. So I wouldn't get in for Lindsay's reason, but I also wouldn't think that if I did get in, I'd be in a relationship where she wouldn't let me out.
Right. So that's part of the, I guess.
No, I mean it.
Some people are, you know, why the fuck would you get in a suitcase?
Right.
There's some people that are like that.
That definitely felt very like abusive
I'm
on
not-
her
we're
end.
not
Like
kink shaming, but like maybe
no,
that's their thing.
Yeah.
no. Well, if it was their thing, he'd still be alive, right? I mean, most people who partake in their kinks responsibly have, you know, trust, a foundation of trust. Usually,
Maybe she
is,
was drunk and then she woke up, like she passed out and she woke up. Oh,
no.
man.
Supposedly
He's dead.
she went upstairs.
Yeah, I know.
and
I was just
like
making a joke. Maybe she just passed out. I was like, oh man, woke
That's
up
crazy.
Too late. Didn't set an alarm.
Nah, I just know
Speaking of crazy, speaking of crazy bitches, Lily Phillips had
hear-
sex with 100 men in
we're talking
one
about this?
day.
Hell
Her
yeah.
next goal is to have sex with
1,000.
1,000 men in one
All
day.
right. Before, no, should I play video? Let me just play video so we can get our thoughts uninterrupted. $100 men
a day.
You're pretty excited, were you?
No, because they were talking
Were
about
you
this.
there?
No, they were talking about this on Rory Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought they went in depth about it.
Like, so to kind of set the scene, I'd finished a 14-hour slog of a very hard and stressful day. It was then extremely overwhelming because as soon as I finished, I didn't really think I even got time to shower or eat or anything. There was a camera crew there filming me and kind of, you know, prodding me with questions about the day and everything like that. And it was very overwhelming. And obviously, like I talked about in the doc, it was also coming from a place of like, I felt like I did a disservice to some of the guys, in the fact that, you know, we promised a service of 5 minutes and some of them had to cut short because we just weren't going to get them all in, to be honest. So yeah, that was kind of where it came from. And obviously it was just very intense. Like, it was a very stressful day. And then there's a camera crew all of a sudden appear and asking me questions for an hour about how everything went and just, you know, kept kind of prodding me. So the whole reason why we actually did the 100 was like a dry run for the 1,000. That was kind of the idea. Because I have a love for like gangbangs, group scenes, things like that. And, you know, after about 6-7 months of shooting porn, I was a bit like, it's all samey, you know, it's not very unique or anything like that. And I wanted to do something exciting for me.
This makes it wilder.
Because, you know, this is what I love at the end of the day. I was just like, I want to challenge myself a little bit. And I came up with the idea of maybe breaking the world record.
Get a job.
I thought, you know, it hasn't been broken in 20 years. That would be kind of iconic. And so my team was like, whoa, slow down. You know, you got to walk before you can run kind of thing. And so that's when they decided, why not we do the 100? Like, so, see how you go on the 100, see how you feel, and then we'll talk about the 1,000 kind of thing. And so I did that 2 months back, and then kind of more or less straight after I kind of started promoting, then I was going to do the 1,000. Because it did go really well. And what was great was, you know, we can learn from the mistakes I made that day and change that for the 1,000, you know, to make it so much more streamlined. And yeah, so that's kind of why what's going on here. On the day, obviously, we said to the guys they're getting 5 minutes each, and that meant one-to-one time. It was quite intimate, really. You know, me and them just in a bedroom, and you know, when they came in, they had shoes, socks, trousers, belts to take off. I got on the bed. You know, also I didn't want them to be nervous, so I wanted to, you know, just chat to them a little bit before. You know, how are you? Where are you from? You know, how's your day going? Lay on the bed. And so that kind of took up quite a lot of time. You wouldn't think it, but it all really adds up when you're doing this with 100 people. And so then when they got to doing their 5 minutes, and they got, you know, they got their 5 minutes, and then they got dressed after, and that took so much time. And, you know, that's something we've definitely changed. Everyone's got to be undressed from bottom half down, ready to go. This time we're also going to have like fluffers, like girls who are there just predominantly for oral to get the guys ready and hard for me. So that will save so much time as well. What else? I'm trying to think now. I think
she's so pretty.
She's talking about this like a coaching staff breaking down film.
She's
First
really
thoughts,
pretty.
First thoughts, wifey. Very nice.
No.
Never.
Would I wife her? No. You fucking kidding me? 100 men?
She's talking about this like
in one day,
breaking down film,
but she doesn't
like
come
X's
off.
and O's.
She doesn't come off like the stereotypical whore, porn star, however you would think a promiscuous person to this level would be. So it's a little.
She looks like your typical Trader Joe's.
She seems very
Lululemon
very
type of like
pleasant, very like
she's very pleasant,
nice, a little too pleasant. Yeah. Very nice, like honestly, like very articulate, very like smart. Like she comes off, it is very just crazy to find out.
She's a really pretty girl too.
Yeah.
Like it's
very.
I don't know. It's crazy.
She's not all.
When I had never seen the video or seen what she looks like. I just heard them talking about it.
Yeah,
but I think the thing to like remember in this is that she doesn't necessarily need permission from anybody else to do something like this. This is her decision, you know, based on her morals. She's the one that has to sleep with herself at night, right? So
and 100 other people that day.
Well, right.
Not just
but when she's alone in her bed, you know, like she's the one that has to live with it. So if that's what she wants to do, like more power to you, girl. And obviously there's at least 100 men that are into it.
I feel the same way. I feel like every person should have autonomy over their own body.
Yeah.
And they should have the decision to choose what they want to do and what they don't want to do, as long as it's consensual. But is she going to regret it down the road? Time will tell. And what, you know, like Lindsay said, what is when she goes to bed at night and she thinks like, I just had 100 dudes run through me today. That, I don't know. That must be wild to think
the
of.
wildest part is there is a man out there that will still marry her.
Right. Well,
That
I
is
mean,
fucking insane.
but you also have to
She's a
think of like,
celebrity now.
right. There's men out there who have likely done worse, or, you know, I mean, not on that scale because men can't get off 100 times like that. No, but I mean, and not
You're
to
lucky
say
if I go twice.
there's men out there who
5 minutes.
there's men out there who are married, who have kids, who have done much worse things, you know, than having consensual sex with 100 other people. That
in a day.
So
wait, what do you mean they've cheated on their wives and stuff?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people, you know, the moral or ethic argument on this is that it's her decision, you know, and just because not saying you particularly, but just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean that it's wrong or that, you know, this was her choice. So.
Right. But people are also entitled to their own thoughts and opinions on the matter.
True. Yeah.
Especially when you put it for the public.
Yeah.
If you put it out there for the public she's going to make money off of it. She's going to make content. She made content. She's going to make a bunch of money off of it. Great. Then you are subject to public opinion. You're subject to public ridicule.
Yes.
Sorry.
So
that's some wild shit.
Let me ask you guys then a question, I guess. Why do you think her trying to do this with her body is so unattractive, or something you do not want in a partner for yourselves? And I guess Sal, what do you think first?
The obvious.
Which is
she had sex with 100 dudes in one day. I don't ever want to be with somebody like that.
Why not though?
Oh man, I mean, again, I think people should have autonomy over their own bodies and be able to make their own decisions as long as it's consensual. And I'm not saying that she can't do this, right? But when I watch that video, my own opinion, my thoughts on that video, and I could be wrong, but there seems like there's a lot of mental health issues there. Just the way she was talking about some of the stuff, that she's so desensitized to all of that. And in my personal opinion, like, I don't know.
I mean, for some people, sex isn't as like emotional or deep
for some people, but you're asking me.
No,
and for me, it is very deep and emotional.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There have been, you know, growing up, you have sex with people, and sometimes there is no emotions attached. It's very, you know, cavalier. But I think in terms of marrying somebody, you know, like for me personally, my wife and the person I want to spend the rest of my life with and have kids with,
or even date,
you have to have that connection. Like there has to be a very intimate connection. And I can never have that connection with somebody knowing that.
Right. So as long as you were aware of someone like that and their background, that's where it kind of, because she seems like someone that most men would be open to having as their partner. Look wise,
very pretty.
Yeah, she's
her
a pretty girl.
appearance,
Yeah.
the way she came off.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I don't care about body count. Like if you had sex with 100 dudes before you met me, whatever, cool, before me. But she's went public with it and decided.
Why not though?
Why not?
Why is the body count thing?
It's not a thing for me. I don't care.
Well, some people do think.
Why
some
don't
people
you think? Care. I don't. whatever. You did what you did before you met me. I don't care.
Yeah.
You met me, I will judge you off of this.
Right.
Our connection. Now you did whatever you did. You had 100 dudes. That's your body count. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Whatever. But maybe I can work through that. But what I know I cannot work through is the fact that you went public. You publicly had 100 dudes in one day. That the levels there. Like you need that to be satisfied. You were doing regular pornos, regular gangbangs. That wasn't enough for you, so you decided I want to do 100 guys. Like, there's no way I'm going to satisfy
it sounds
you. I'm not
to
giving
me
you 100 times.
a lot. It sounds to me like she really just for the money. She's trying to just get like the fame. You know,
I
like
think it's the fame. Even more than the money.
Yeah.
But what kind of fame is that? You're going to be known as a girl that fucked 100 dudes. And then you're the guy, and then you cry about it later on when
I agree with you, but that's not probably what's going on in her head.
Oh, no,
if I had to guess, it's just the notoriety.
So if body count doesn't matter,
however she gets there.
If body count doesn't matter, and you took maybe offense to the publicity of it, if she were to have done that in the privacy of her own personal life without any monetary gain attached to it, would that matter? Would that fall under the same I don't care about body count?
Like if she...
Because you pointed out you don't like it because
like down the road,
she made it mainstream and popular.
Just so you know, I had sex with 100 dudes in one day.
Just as a personal goal of mine.
I would leave.
I know you. That would crush you, bro.
So where does that differentiate for you with body count and then why it's not okay anymore?
Well, sex 100. You let 100 different men inside you in one day.
Yeah.
Like that's just fucking insane. That's weird.
Why is it insane though?
This is weird. Like
I don't think that it's like necessarily, like, for lack of better words, natural in regards to like human ability. You know, obviously if this was like a normal situation just in public, she wouldn't be having sex with 100 men in a day. There's a lot of planning that goes in with it, you know, whereas if I think that that's the thing that is so just like mind blowing to me is like the unnaturalness of it. You know, like I can understand promiscuous people and, you know, maybe hitting it a few different dudes in a day, but having 100 dudes in a day, it's not like, it's not like a human nature thing to want to do 100 dudes.
Having sex with multiple people in a 24-hour span, I don't think that's as crazy as having sex with 100 people. Like that's just fucking nuts.
And I think Mikhail is trying to go back to looking at this like purely objective. And I get that.
Yeah.
But to answer the question that you were asking him, for me, it's not objective. It's very subjective. And it comes back to what I would want out of a partner. And that's not something that I want. But that's my personal preference because there is a guy out there, to Adrian's point, that's going to wife her up and maybe even have kids with her and be okay with it.
I think
more power to you.
For me, I think the thing is like, if she does have kids in the future, having to be that kid. And I mean, I don't know if this is her real name, Lily Phillips, or if this is like her stage name, but for your kid to possibly Google you and the headline that comes up is this, you know what I mean?
That's the kid looks up 101 Dalmatians and she pops up.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of, but I think that goes for any type of behavior, you know, like you could be a parent at any point and, you know, fuck your life up.
How many adult stars do you hear about like years later regretting a lot of the stuff they did?
A lot of them
in the adult industry. A lot of them, right? I don't know. Is she gonna regret it down the road? Maybe not.
I mean,
millionaire.
And I don't think she's like scum of the earth. I don't think she's a gross human being. I just could not wife her. Could I be 123? Sure. But would I wife her? No.
Wait, so you'd be down to wait in line?
Why that number?
Not in line. No, I'm not waiting.
Why that number? Why
like
would
if
you
I
be
met
down
her,
if you
like
didn't?
if I met her,
You had an appointment.
I wouldn't schedule an appointment. Like if we met and we're like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm like, oh, you're that one girl. Oh, cool. Would I do it? Maybe.
With a condom on?
Of course. 7.
But only after do you think you could wife her up?
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
No.
After all those probing questions.
Well, ask me why. Ask me why. Let me try to articulate it. I'll try.
I'll tell you my why first.
Yeah.
And then you can tell me your why.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So
wait, so there's a deeper why?
Yeah, and I'm gonna get a little deep here. But I've and this is tapping into like a really deep insecurity of mine, right? Yeah. I've been in relationships where I've been cheated on. Okay. And I've tried after I was cheated on to make it work because I cared and loved about that person. I could never, as hard as I tried, I could never look at them the same, and I can never trust them again, right? Because I would always think of her with that guy. And maybe it was only once that I knew of, whatever, right? I always think about that. So in this situation, even though she wouldn't be cheating on me because this was all done before me, I'm always going to go back to you had 100 dicks inside of you in one day. And I would never personally be able to live with that, right? Because and again, maybe this is going back to an insecurity of mine. Like that's just not something that I want. And then it would also make me question, like, if you're that willing to do that, are you cheating? No. Like that, again, probably tapping into some insecurities, but are you willing to just like go up? Because like sex is so meaningless to you. Is it nonchalant for you to just go off and hook up with another dude while you're in a relationship with me?
Right.
I'm going to be thinking about all this stuff because I know how my brain works.
Yeah.
I can never do it.
I think the meaningless thing, I think that's what stands out for me as to why it would be like a fuck no, because you've let sex become so meaningless. Whereas for me, it's super important. Like you're doing something together that, you're getting naked together. You're fucking doing these weird fucking things together. Like it's very intimate.
Yeah.
And it's very like, I don't know. And
vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. And it's very like, I don't know. I think it's special, Yeah. So to be with someone who treats it like
as
an oil change kind of thing, like it kind of takes away the specialness out of being with them. Like I don't know. Like to me, I want that to be, mutually important. And to me, that kind of person takes it all away. So why be with someone where anytime you have sex, it's potentially looked at as a job? You're just going through with
who knows if she has the same connection
emotions,
that you have.
Right? I mean,
she's probably disassociating when we're in the middle of it.
You'll be so numb to it.
Yeah, and you'll never share that.
Yeah,
there are porn stars that do have relationships that are, married, or
right,
and
porn stars though. That's fine. That's
right, but she's, I mean, technically, I guess, kind of a porn star. You're an OnlyFans, right?
I mean,
but she's obviously She did say that she did do porn, and she felt like it was very just cheesy because it wasn't real.
It wasn't enough for her.
She's an extreme sport,
right?
She's the X Games.
Okay,
sucking dick.
Right. So I think that some people can separate that work.
First 900.
That work essentially from. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, Lizzie.
That was a good one. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
He did do the first 900.
She's fucked 100 guys in a day.
No,
Lizzie.
that's fine.
That's different than being a porn star.
My point is that some people can differentiate between the work and the relationship, the emotional relationship. And I think that obviously this table doesn't do that.
Yeah, I couldn't
we are all very emotional people.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm way too insecure.
Right. Whereas I think that some people, from their experience or whatever chemicals they have in their brain, some people don't put sex like that. Or they can literally just build that wall and this is sex for work and this is
There are probably
sex.
people that can just
turn it
off and on.
Right. Well, no,
But
porn,
1000%.
from what I understand, believe me, haven't been in any videos that I know of. But
Whoa. Jesus Christ.
but I mean,
Whoa.
it sounds to me like porn sex is very different than like real sex.
Sure.
You know, there's people around, you know, people talk about how awkward it is to have porn sex and, you know, the work that goes into it, that everybody that's everybody that's involved. It's not necessarily like falling in love, you know, with somebody.
And stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think there's something chemically wrong with somebody that wants to have sex with 1,000 guys in one day.
I mean,
lots
but
of microplastics.
also, you know, you have a lot of porn stars who have addictions or past traumas or whatever, and that's how they
to come.
Well, no, porn can be an addiction.
Yeah.
I mean, not just watching it, partaking in it.
Oh, she's addicted. So like a sex addiction.
Yeah, but also chemical addictions, alcohol addictions. There's all kinds of.
You think she's doing this sober?
I don't know. I mean, I can't accuse her of doing
14
anything.
hours straight. She had to have been sober at some point.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, I know somebody who is a straight cisgendered man who did gay porn for money because he was addicted to drugs. So
you made me shake his hand.
Oh.
You know,
he did it to get money for drugs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I mean, it could be the same thing as. That's not the debate. It could be the same thing for women. You know, they could be doing it for money because, you know, they have other vices or, you know, and also doing drugs makes it easier to do things like that.
Well, going back to what Mikhail said about why he wouldn't want to do it, because he just feels like that person doesn't have any emotional connection to it. It's meaningless. Like it's like an oil change, right? Yeah. You're in and you're out. That's the exact reason why I wouldn't be able because of those things you said. They feed into insecurities that I have.
Sure, yeah,
and I'd be like, you're so, but maybe she can flip it on and off. I don't know, but you're so divorced to those emotions.
Yeah.
Why would I feel comfortable with you being with me, knowing that you could just it's frivolous, right? Like you could just go off on a whim.
Everybody gets it. So why is it special?
I banged out 20 today. What?
But, okay, so we all in agreement that we wouldn't wife her, but. Would you hook up with her on a drunken one night?
Knowing
that, say you go out one night, she's there.
You're out. Oh,
you
shit,
had a couple of drinks.
Phillips.
Yeah, you had a couple of drinks. Like
she's into you. She wants to take you home.
Clearly, she likes fucking, and she's like,
I'll go first. Today, where I'm at, like if I was 35, single, I don't think I would. But if I was like 18 to that
in TJ
early 20s type, I think I would, just because.
And is that her?
I don't know enough about like that part of myself, like what I like and what I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get it. Yeah. She's cute enough.
Well, and she is only 23.
She's very pretty.
Well, she's
20, and that's her demographic, right? Like, what is her demographic? Is it old guys that just want to fuck a young girl? Is it 18-year-old fucking redditors?
For 100, it's anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
so I mean. Younger me, I honestly think I would be open to it just because I don't know any better at that. I just want to get it how I can get it, and she's cute. That's it. You know, I don't have
you on that.
I'm not mature enough to understand like the connection part yet. I'm just looking for physical,
just looking for a
satisfaction.
Nut. You just want to go out and get a nut,
and then you know shamelessly like just say I hooked up with this baddie or whatever, you know, and that's it, and it's as surface level as that.
Yeah.
While I'm in that age range,
I think I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Because the older we get, the more we learn about ourselves. Like, like for me personally, like our moral compasses, start to form more and change, and then also you start to put a lot more weight and value into certain things, and then you learn that a lot of things that you did put weight and value into when you were in your early 20s don't have any meaning now.
Exactly.
So does the fact that she is only 23, does that like
she's only 23?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 23.
I didn't know that.
She's only 23. So, I mean, you know, knowing that as a younger person, you would probably be down, does that change, you know, your opinion? She's so young.
Now that makes me think even more that when she's in her 30s, she's going to regret this. I didn't know she was that young.
Everybody's invincible when we're young, which is the risk. we're willing to take. So
because I don't at 36, I don't think anything like I thought at 22 or 23.
Clearly, what she doesn't value now is the potential of a lost, meaningful relationship later on, because she's young.
Yeah,
she has so much life ahead.
Right.
There's no reason to worry about that.
It's funny that she's what, Gen Z, and there's a decline on birth rate because Gen Z is just not going out. They're not being promiscuous. They're not drinking as much as the previous generations, all of this stuff. And then you have this girl who's like kind of the opposite.
She's an outlier.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of interesting?
She's trying to save.
But she's not. But she's not. What is it called? Procreating.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's funny, the difference. The Gen Z is very much like house people. They don't leave the house. So
I think so. Jeez.
All right.
Well, they do say our population numbers are declining, right?
Yeah, we're not having enough kids.
Well, China's throwing away all the boys, right? Or they're throwing away the girls.
I think they stopped doing that.
Yeah, they stopped doing that.
They're feeling it too.
Didn't they used to have a limit on only one kid per family, and now they've upped it to 2 or 3 or something?
Yeah.
Because they were
That was girls.
overpopulated at one point, and they were getting rid of the girls, because boys in that culture carried more value, supposedly.
Oh, yeah, we saw Mulan.
Right.
When you say getting rid of, what does that mean?
They were killing girls or orphaning them, or I mean, that's why we had a lot of adoptions in America.
Jeez.
For
Dumpsters.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Kobe.
What do we got next, babe?
Next is the Germany Christmas market attack. So Christmas market in Germany, really big thing. Lots of, things to buy there. You'd go shopping, you do your Christmas thing. It's a tradition, a person drove through the Christmas market and killed 5 people, injured 200. And the thing about this is that this has sparked immigration issues in Germany. Germany has open borders. Right. They don't necessarily check anybody that comes to live there or visit there, or you can just walk straight into Germany. No fucks, right? So this gentleman, it was from Saudi Arabia, I want to say. Yeah.
Saudi doctor.
He's a Saudi doctor. He moved to Germany, and when he moved to Germany, they his previous country even warned Germany about him. He had ideas that were debatable.
Okay. Should I
Yeah, go ahead.
see if this is the
der Tatverdächtige herkommt, was wir hier für Basis.
When it became clear where the suspect came from and what kind of basic data we have here, 50-year-old man from Saudi Arabia, first name Taleb, it didn't take us long to realize that this was a person who was known for his online activities, particularly as an anti-Islamic figure in the global right-wing extremism scene. We were then able to confirm this lead relatively quickly and pursue it.
Und fühlte sich eben verfolgt in den letzten Jahren von Geheimdiensten.
And he felt that he had been pursued by secret services and state authorities, especially in Germany in recent years, and saw this as part of an agenda against refugees like him, who he saw as the true and only legitimate asylum seekers, who stand against Islam, who leave their home country, especially Saudi Arabia, and are because of that which is true that Saudi Arabia is a repressive regime in which critical people are persecuted, but that they are also deliberately disempowered and persecuted here, and instead, people are deliberately brought here who pursue an Islamist agenda, so to speak, and want to destroy Western societies in the long term.
Langfristig die Gesellschaften des Westens zerstören wollen. Das heißt,
So the government essentially knew that this guy was dangerous.
He's going. So this is the video of. You can kind of see the car, the size of it, and
he's going so fast.
You can see it, like people already fucking getting plowed right here. So this is a Christmas market, super congested, like down this little aisleway.
Yeah.
Does not take his foot off the gas at all. And there's more people down that way.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's hard to watch.
Yeah. So he's speaking online anti-Islamic, but also speaking out for the refugees, you know, saying that people are against the refugees, and the government essentially didn't do anything to stop it, even though they were warned. And so now it's sparking debates in Germany about closing borders and not allowing people to come. And yeah, that's.
Yeah, this is rough. Okay, I think we already saw this one. Damn.
Yeah.
Let's see this one.
Yeah, we need to have a segment just
possibly an explosive in the car right now. How does that tip the scales toward this being some sort of real terrorist attempt, al-Qaeda or something of that nature?
Very much towards international terrorism, and that again, these people never went away. You know, we've been looking at domestic extremists quite a bit here in this country, but international terrorism has not gone away. You know, we sort of kicked the hornet's nest in the Middle East, and they have a long-term. You know, they're playing the long game, if you will.
To that point, Chris, there's possibly an explosive in the car right now. How does that tip the scales toward this being some sort of real terrorist attempt, al-Qaeda or something of that nature?
Very much towards international terrorism, and that again, these people never went away. You know, we've been looking at domestic extremists quite a bit here in this country, but international terrorism has not gone away. You know, we sort of kicked the hornet's nest in the Middle East.
Fry off the ground.
And they have a long-term. You know, they're playing the long game. If you.
I can't believe you only killed. Did you say 5?
5 killed. 200 injured.
I mean, that's a lot of people injured, but with that, what we just watched, I'm surprised that wasn't way more than 5 people dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I imagine at a certain point, there's just so many bodies at the front of the car that it's just bodies hitting bodies, as opposed to, I've seen The Walking Dead, and the way that they make it seem like cars going through zombies, it doesn't seem like it would be that easy. But then you see something like this, and it's pretty. Yeah.
It didn't look like the vehicle slowed down very much either.
Yeah, that had to have been like a supercharged BMW or something. Like.
Yeah, the open borders thing is an interesting, I guess, talking point about this, whether or not that affects whether this would happen, you know, or why it happened. I don't.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. Is it a religious thing? Is it because of them?
That's
like an anti-Muslim thing?
Well, the part of this situation is that there's a lot of protests in Germany right now to close the border because they feel that kind of how this guy made a comment about these people with these backgrounds. They're not trying to assimilate with the countries that they're coming to. They're trying to eliminate, I guess, in this case, because they follow a westernized culture. They're against that. They're anti that, yet they're allowed to come in and practice things that are able to,
I
guess,
mean,
take down their.
Considering America has closed borders, right? We're supposed to be checking everybody that comes in, but there were still terrorist attacks on American soil. I mean, it's hard to say that a closed border stops these things from happening. You know,
So the protests are happening because of this.
Yeah, and
Well, the protests are happening prior to this too, right?
no, the protests, the actual physical protesting, like, gatherings and all that happened after this took place. So people started getting an uprise, I guess, started forming after this, almost like the last straw, and they want change in their government now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, yeah,
I mean, it's tragic, but I mean, also doing it in an area, you're celebrating Christmas and it's supposed to be a joyous time, and then you have something like this happen. It's really hard.
Yeah, I wish I
think for a
had
lot of
more
people.
on the motives. I haven't been able to find that
Well,
yet.
there's a link here. It says about the killer. Did you click on that one?
Yeah, I think that was the one I just. Yeah, I clicked both. Yeah, it's the article.
Go down. Okay, hold
I
on.
saw this article. Yeah, motive was not clear.
Is Jay-Z innocent?
Oh, so he was.
Yes.
He. One of the.
He said that's so serious. Yes.
So
Go on. Did you want me to?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Oh wait, that says 11 killed. So that had to have been updated.
Yeah, that was 8 days ago. 60 injured.
But yeah, he was. So he.
The injured number.
He did this in protest to how they were supposedly treating the Saudi refugees. Yeah.
Can't be any worse than where you were coming from.
Right. Well, and I mean, especially as somebody who sounds anti-Islamic, he's the minority in Saudi Arabia. If he's Christian or atheist, I don't know what he is, but
right.
So he's the minority in Saudi. So, I mean, to me, I think it's pretty dang nice that this country allowed you to come in and have a life.
No, yeah, sure. Took advantage.
So,
all right, P, pull out your Rockefeller chain. Go ahead and put your diamonds in the sky. Wave them side to side.
So what we're doing? I need a lighter.
Yeah?
I need a lighter for.
So what do we got next on the agenda?
Go ahead and read it out.
Yesterday.
Egregious.
Should I, you want me to play the news?
He's egregious.
Or do you want to, let me, I'll let you kind of figure out
We're going to edit the shit out of this.
your candle really quick.
Why did you move it?
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
Try to put it in the center.
Well, you can't see it behind your thing.
All right. So this one kind of gives away the end result. So I'll let you kind of. Let's start with the
accusations,
how the story came. Yeah, the accusations and where they all came from.
Busby, right? Busby's the name of the lawyer that is filing everything against Diddy. And I guess from what I've read related to Jay-Z, this specific case, this specific alleged victim is saying that the night that this allegedly happened, it was Diddy and an unnamed celebrity and an unnamed female celebrity were all in the room as she got raped by Diddy.
Okay.
That was the first accusation. And that's what Busby then filed or added it to the charges that are against Diddy right now. A month later, after letters and attempts from Busby to get Jay-Z to settle, Jay-Z doesn't settle. Jay-Z says, no, we're not going to give you any money. Let's take it to court. So then that's when Busby goes public 2 days before probably one of the biggest days of Jay-Z's life, right? When his daughter is going to be coming out on this box office Disney media press run. If you're trying to get somebody into a corner to come out and give you money, I can see him taking that angle where like you don't want to take the spotlight away from your daughter.
So you just pay him.
Just pay, like just get the money. Just get the money to like pay the money to get to that way. All this is not going to affect your daughter's first like very huge box office. This is what I would imagine. It is his tactic. So Jay, from what we read, didn't give any money, didn't settle, didn't do any of that. Said, let's take it to court. Busby then went public and put out these charges that
these bullshit charges.
Yeah, these egregious allegations that Jay-Z had a part in Diddy raping a 13-year-old. I think there's something wrong with her mentally now. I don't know exactly what it is.
Is that what
they're
saying now?
Yeah, like there's something mentally wrong with her. I don't know what the thing is, but yeah. So to say that she fucking, I don't know.
It's wrong. But who when you say wanted Jay-Z to pay money, Busby wanted Jay-Z to pay him money, or who's that money going to?
Court, to his victim, to the alleged victim.
Oh, to the victim.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the lawyer was sending letters to Jay-Z's attorney,
Which obviously the lawyer's going to get a part of that money too, right? For representing the victim.
Which is, I think this is common practice, right? Like I'm sure multiple celebrities, thousands of celebrities have people that say, hey, like I don't like the way you touched me. Give me $50,000. And then they settle. It's like
I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, it's like ambulance chasers where it's just a dirty game. And right, if you have that much to lose, imagine Jay-Z. He's in charge of the Super Bowl performance. He's in charge of, Rock Nation. He's in charge of, his daughter is about to go on this Disney box office Disney press run. Like, of course you don't want any sort of bad publicity, but you also can't give in to these types of bullshit allegations of what it's going to do to your image. And that's why he fought back so hard and fought back so the things that he said were just like the way he said it, like I'm going to show you how different I really am. Like I'm not going to give you any money. You're not going to get a red cent from me. Like knowing that, and then knowing what he said too was like, I have to go home and explain this to my daughter, who is at the age where her friends are going to be talking about it. Like, imagine that. You're a 14-year-old kid, 14-year-old daughter, and her friends are saying your dad raped a 13-year-old. Like, I don't know.
I had no idea until right now that this was happening well before it was public.
Yeah.
Between Jay-Z's, I'm assuming, attorneys and lawyers and Busby. I didn't know that until you said that right now.
Yeah.
And then it went public because he was like, F you, I'm not paying you nothing.
It went public because he wasn't going to settle. Wow. He wasn't going to give no money to him because he didn't do anything. Damn. Then the little girl, or the girl, gives an interview.
Right.
And goes on to later on say that she did not, first she said that at that night of the party that she was talking to one of the members of Good Charlotte, Benji from Good Charlotte.
Okay.
She said she specifically remembers having a conversation with Benji from Good Charlotte about his tattoos because it was like a religious tattoo. Benji's people from Good Charlotte came out and said they weren't there. They were on tour. All right.
Then they could probably prove that.
And they proved that. Then her part of her story was, granted, she's 13 at the time.
Yeah.
6-hour drive away from home, and that her dad picked her up from the gas station near the place of the alleged rape, which was, I'm assuming she walked to a gas station after.
Right.
The dad came out and said, if something like that happened, I think I would remember it.
Okay, so he doesn't remember driving that far.
5 hours to pick up your daughter.
Pick up from a fucked up night.
How did none of this get sussed out by Busby?
Later on, Busby came out and said, this case was given to me. My team did not vet well enough to this, but we still stand by our client. And that's why Jay is like going,
I'm gonna come for you.
Jay's like, I'm coming for you now. Like, you don't do that. You can't go and do that. Like, guilt. Jay will be known. Look at Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody knows Michael Jackson as the guy that fucked with little kids.
Yeah.
And even though legally technically, or by the law, he never was accused of anything. But when you think of Michael Jackson, you don't think of Thriller first. You think of that's the guy with the kids. That was fucking with the kids. The weirdo. That's what they were trying to do to Jay.
Well, I think that this particular situation is kind of like you are the company you keep. And well, because P. Diddy is so neck deep in bullshit right now, he's in major trouble with evidence. There's definitely stuff there. I don't think that it's like, of course somebody is going to accuse the right-hand man of something when the head honcho is behind bars. Like that's an easy paycheck in somebody's eyes.
Yeah, but if you really know, it doesn't seem like Jay and Puff were like, they weren't business partners. Like Jay had Duce and Diddy worked for the people of Ciroc.
Yeah, but I mean, somebody who doesn't maybe know that much.
They came up in the same. So it's easy to sell that.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, but
easy to sell, but so off.
Yeah,
with the story that how did that again not get vetted properly by a team
messy.
of yeah, that just seems crazy. I don't know. It seems. Also, I also want to know, like, is there any validity to her story? Because they always say the truth lies somewhere in between, or is it all crazy and made up?
I mean, I can't speak to what she's accusing Diddy of, but it sounds like all the research that I did, her Jay story just doesn't match up. And why come out a month later? And then also, the NFL came out and said, we stand by Jay. Our agreement is not going to change. I feel like the NFL probably has unlimited resources to do their investigation. They probably investigated it, which is as they should have. They found out, they did their results, and if they stand by him, somebody that cares about their image as much as the NFL, like, why are they still choosing to be on Team J?
Or they were paid off.
I mean, right. But I mean, it just seems like, yeah, but it just seems like if the NFL, if there was any percentage of this being true, the NFL would have stepped away.
Right. Yeah, and if the NFL gets paid off, like what does that number look like? Does Jay? I mean, I know Jay's stupid wealthy, but does he have enough money to pay off the NFL? I don't think so.
I mean,
you're talking huge numbers.
That's the ultimate good old boys club, right? The NFL owners and Roger Goodell. If you're thinking of it from a conspiracy point, why wouldn't they want to get rid of the rich black man?
Right.
You know what I mean? But for them to say, no, we still stand by you, that means there can't be a single cent, or there's no cent of wrong.
Every NFL owner is a billionaire, I think.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, for the most
Something
part.
like that.
Group.
So does Jay even? Yeah, I don't know if he has the money to pay him off.
You guys want to hear about some real scary, like real rape things that
Hold
happened?
on. There's someone's opinion that I want to know about the Jay-Z.
There's an accusation about Jay-Z and Diddy and a teenager, 13-year-old teenager. Right. And we were speaking about just the statement.
Right.
The statement, you saying you felt like that was calculated.
That was that the statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer. Because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says you're gonna find out, like how I'll handle this. Like, and that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like your publicist wouldn't say those things.
This is on your.
Put that out.
This is on. 50? Yeah, it says I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for Benjamin. I'm just trying to figure out if we're still doing everything the way. Because look, they will fall back, but the NFL, they won't necessarily be associated to that.
Right. Why do you not insert yourself, but you're on top of every topic, right?
Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm participating. I'm being part of the culture. I'm just telling you my opinion.
Right.
Look,
because you're part of the culture.
Like I can't say anything now. I'm out of it. I'm like I'm going to Dre's studio and just sit with Dre a little.
Right.
And then maybe I stay out of trouble.
Nah.
And on the Schultz Flagrant podcast,
that Schultz 50 Cent.
Amazing.
50 is so funny.
Dude, I had to kind of see what his thoughts were on the Jay-Z. He does
But I mean,
not hold back.
To go back to it, I genuinely think that it's going to come out that they're moving to drop the case, to drop all charges against Jay-Z.
The fact that they have proof he was not even in the vicinity.
No, there's that's the who was not in the vicinity was Good
Charlotte.
Benji. Yeah,
No,
Benji
I thought there
from
was
Good
more
Charlotte.
that came out showing Jay-Z at the time that she's alleging the rape happened, not even there on property at like an award show somewhere.
Well, it was where she's alleged it happened was a VMA after party. So there was pictures of Jay at the VMAs, but there's no pictures of like obviously there's no
after
cameras at wherever this party was. I'm assuming it was a Diddy party, but yeah. Jay didn't do that shit though, man.
This is where things kind of get questionable.
You're Jay-Z. You're a famous rapper. You can have any woman in the world. Why would you want a 13-year-old? This just doesn't make sense.
So she was 18 allegedly when Beyonce was 18 when she met Jay-Z allegedly, and then they got married and that was when Jay was 30. So he's 12 years older than her, and mind you, when Beyonce got famous, she was a teenager and an underage teenager, and Jay-Z saw her and was like, I'm going to marry her.
So that means he raped a 13-year-old girl?
No, not at all. But he was looking it up.
I think, well, yeah. And I was looking it up because I remember hearing the reason why people were able to fathom that he can do that is because they thought it was a little odd for him at his age to be dating. So I'm seeing conflicting things about how old, but like,
I think it's on record that Beyonce was younger when they met.
So this one says
16
years old.
16. I don't know if they were dating, just meeting, yada, yada, yada.
Well, he met her, but I don't think they started dating right when they met. I mean, they were in the same industry, so they probably met ahead of time.
Sure. I guess.
When did they get married?
I don't know.
Like, how old was she?
I can look that up.
And then I saw the R. Kelly point of view, or not the point of view, but the R. Kelly thing too, where you can see why you would compare it because Jay-Z did an album or did songs and tours with R. Kelly. But I mean, if you're going to say that, then there's
You can
hundreds
just
of
look
people
up
that
Beyonce and go to her wiki page and it'll show you everything.
That's true.
I'm already halfway.
So are people trying to play the angle that
She was 26 when she got married.
together already? But are people trying to play the angle that he might
That would, I mean, if they allegedly met when she was 18 and they got married when she was 26, they met 8 years ago. But that photo said that they were 16, that she was 16. So they had met 10 years.
I don't know. I guess those are the devil's advocate, the counter side of why they could fathom it, just because it comes off odd, knowing what we know.
I mean,
of
there's all kinds of pedophilia, obvious pedophilia in Hollywood, and it's not just, you know, a picture of Beyonce and Jay-Z when she was 16.
Tiger was fucking Kylie Jenner for like she was on the
Right.
show, like, and there was nothing wrong with it. Everybody was okay with it.
You know, there's Wilmer Valderrama was with Demi Lovato, with Mandy Moore, you know, when they were 16. You have Mila Kunis on that 70s show when she's 13 with all of those, with Masterson, Danny Masterson, who has been convicted on sexual abuse allegations, and then
they kind of stand by him still, though. No,
what?
I heard Mila and Ashton.
Yeah, and
like,
they ended up
him,
taking back that letter supposedly because Mila said that they wrote that letter with information not being disclosed to them. So, but
all that to say, The Rock still lives. Jay-Z's innocent.
So
see this?
Yeah.
See this? Can't do that shit. Can't do
He
that.
he never went to Epstein's Island.
Yeah, and what is that exactly? What do you got there?
It's a work of art.
Work of art. It is. That thing is pretty.
Little dusty. It's one of the best things I ever did.
What is it? People just don't know what it is.
It's a Rockefeller candle.
Okay.
You can't buy it anymore. It's not sold online anymore.
Will it ever be? Probably not. Probably not. But we got other good shit.
Got some shit on the way.
Yeah.
Got some shit on the way.
All right.
So, on the topic of rape,
Jesus,
yeah,
that's a wild transition.
I know, right? No, have you guys heard about the case in France of Giselle Pellicot?
Edit that out.
Who's that?
So Giselle Pellicot was married, had kids. Her and her husband had been together since the 70s, and she was going to the doctor because time in her life was passing. She, thought all of these things were wrong with her. Maybe she had Alzheimer's or all of this stuff.
That's fucked.
Her husband gets caught in an upskirting incident where he's taking photos up a girl's skirt in the market. And the police get involved.
Crazy.
And because the police are involved, they end up confiscating cell phones and computers from him. Yeah. And in their investigation, they find pictures of his name is Dominique, the husband. They find pictures of Dominique's wife, and they bring Giselle in to the police station, and they're like, "Hey, do you recognize this?" And at first she's like, "No, that's so weird." And then she's realizing that it's her bedroom. And then she realizes that it's her. Come to find out, in a 9-year period from 2011 to 2020, he is drugging his wife to the point of unconsciousness and allowing men to come into their house and rape her for 9 years. So much so that has no idea what's going on. She's going to the doctor. She's getting tests. She's getting all this stuff done, and they can't figure it out.
She's thinking she has memory loss, right?
Yeah, she's thinking she has Alzheimer's. She thinks that she has a brain tumor. They're looking at everything. And
you don't think she had any idea?
She says that she has no idea. She didn't even recognize herself in the photos because of her compromised state. She was unconscious. They were putting her in clothes or positions or things that she's like, I would never do that. This woman is 70 something years old now.
Oh shit.
So she's 72.
I wonder if she had any recollection of anything, but she was so disoriented or drugged that she thought it was a bad dream.
Did you guys ever see that movie Blink Twice? There's a movie that Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum put out where just a quick summary of
the
it.
Island where they go to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they bring these girls to this island, and he pretty much says that he makes this comment.
It's a gift to forget.
It's a gift to forget, meaning that in times where we're in the middle of trauma or dealing with something really traumatic, we disassociate and we'll just kind of black out. And he plays off of that by actively drugging them. And he pretty much is there with all of his friends, and he invites these girls, and he's raping them repetitively, all the time throughout the island. And they're just waking up thinking that they just wandered off to bed, not knowing. And come to find out, this wasn't even the first time. They've been drugged so often on that island. This wasn't even the first time. They all got invited to that island. They've been to that island before, but they've been drugged so much, raped so much, disassociated and unable to remember, just kind of groggy, kind of half images of guys on top of them kind of thing, but not knowing for sure because they don't see any proof or anything. they don't even realize that they've been to this place more than once before already.
When did that movie come out?
Recently, like within this past year.
Yeah, I remember seeing the preview for it.
So Giselle, her husband was convicted, as well as 50 other men.
Good.
Based on these are just the men that they were able to figure out who they were from the photos that her husband had. Some of these men, wow. There's obviously men that are fathers. One man went to her house the night that his daughter was born.
And
his wife was in the hospital after giving birth, and he left the hospital and went to do this.
To go partake with what's her face?
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's fucking
dark.
This conversation got dark.
Yeah.
That's
fucking.
So
I don't wanna end it with dark. I wanna talk about maybe some goals or plans we have. I think this is our last one for the year.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about and kind of appreciate us even starting this and trying to go in on something together and kind of create,
Well, I do first want to acknowledge that by the time that this episode comes out, our 9-year wedding anniversary will have happened.
Yeah.
So
Shout out, you guys.
9 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that is after knowing each other for 10 whole months.
That's crazy to say.
Yeah.
Out loud. That's crazy.
We got married after 10 months. I was already 3 months pregnant by the time that I got married.
was I
we got
thinking?
married. Just want to acknowledge, thank you for sticking by me. I know that I'm not the easiest to be with. You definitely compromise much, much more than I do. But appreciate you. Thank you for enduring my crazy. So,
And
you got some sweet shit to say about me?
and all of her cats.
Yeah. And being put at risk of all
I would just like to say that there were plenty of times that I thought I was going to physically strangle
who? Me?
Adrian.
Oh.
But we've made it a long way. And no, I'm joking.
Yeah. So, I guess, based on that, 9 years married, but we're coming up on 10 years together. And so for me, I think 2025 is just going to be really leaning into being grateful for my family and for my life, period. This year I had a very real cancer scare, and as easily and quickly as it was taken care of, kind of feel like a bit of an imposter on saying that I'm a cancer survivor, but definitely put it into perspective on how easily everything can change. So definitely going to be much more grateful this year.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go next, and thank you, as well. I can't say that I'm probably the easiest to be with. I have my moments for sure, but I guess kind of being, at the end of the day, my right hand, my best friend.
Yeah.
And proving that there are people out there that are at the end of the day that will be loyal and stay by your side and help build a family and grow. And for the future, I want to double down on doing stuff like this with you guys, and even build on trying to get better every show, looking for other ways to kind of grow this thing and hopefully live off this thing together. I'm gonna put 110% into trying to do that for all of us, and I hope that 2025 is our year to fucking see, one step closer to that cul-de-sac for us one day. And I really hope this is a vehicle for us to achieve.
We're going to have a cul-de-sac for us and all the homies, but we're still going to rent Knollwood.
And I just hope this is our year to help get closer for all of us to whatever dream that is, to, kind of have that freedom.
Personal autonomy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue foot on the gas and keep trying to do that for all of us, So I can't wait. I can't wait.
It'd be pretty crazy if we flash forward 2 or 3 years and listen to this podcast and we
looked at us at this table,
and we might be in a position where we have that cul-de-sac that we always talked about.
Right. I mean, just because
or financial freedom,
we're in our infancy now. Views are low, but that don't mean that we don't have so much room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I think as long as everyone has that never take, an L, or, every opportunity, whether it's 1 view a video, 10 views, 600, whatever it is, we never settle, and we continue to try to push to be the best that we know that we can be,
Right. The only L's we take are lessons.
I like that. That's a bar. You should have saved that for the end. But I guess I'll kick it to one of you guys if you guys want to.
Go ahead, P.
Year 2024 wrapped.
2024 wrapped. 2024 was a lot for me. I think mentally, it was the hardest year. Probably the hardest. 2023 was pretty rough too. I don't know. This year was a lot, but I surprised myself. This year, I was able to get a lot of shit done given my circumstances. Started off the year where I am now to compared to a year ago is just completely different.
Resilience.
Yeah. But I don't want to get deep into the past because I don't want to be vulnerable in public yet. But to the future, I think that going forward next year, I have a couple things. We're going to revamp this candle thing. This candle. We have an event coming up in January with a couple of other local vendors, just the homies, and starting small. Start small.
This is pretty dope.
It
smells really good too.
I make quality shit, Lindsay.
So, are you gonna hold off before telling people where they would be able to inquire about?
Yeah, because I'm still trying to figure out some back end stuff.
Sure. Okay. But
so
coming soon.
all I can say is I make these, and if you know me, then you know I make candles. Had a candle company. I'm trying to figure out some stuff on the back end right now. What we're gonna do in the future, but I am going to start again in January. And then for the pod, I'm hoping that I can take my little success that I've had in the candle with the candle company, that I've had success in meeting a lot of interesting people and a lot of people that have platforms, that I can take that and take the pod with me and introduce the pod to them and then help build the pod in that way. Like, I think that I can benefit. The pod can benefit from that through the relationships that I have. I can introduce the pod and just get different eyes on it. Helping Makai with the editing is something I really, really, especially with the shorts and all that stuff. I just want to do more. There's definitely more things that I can do. I think that our core friend group, I think there's a lot of people that have a similar friend group like ours, and I think we are very relatable, and I think that's going to be like our selling point. Like,
we cool.
Yeah, like I don't think that there's I think that there's a lot of people that have their group of friends, right? Their group of friends from high school that they're still together. People that probably got married at a young age, or not at a young age, but people that got married
early,
quick, like you guys did. People like Sal, very successful, but are still dating in our late 30s. I don't want to say single father, but like we co-parent, but like I'm co-parent. Like all of our perspectives in one, there's somebody that could relate to all of us.
Yeah.
Right? And I think once we figure out how to do that and talk about these random ass topics that we talk about, it's gonna hit.
I think so too.
Right.
It's just figuring it out.
We're finding ourselves for sure.
Yeah. As the outsider, I guess, you know, you guys were friends long before I came into the picture. But, you know, you guys definitely have something different, something unique. Not a lot of people have friends that they've been friends with for a long time, but you guys have always been very inviting to me, at least. And I think that it is important for people to see that friendships can last a long time.
And we're not funny. We just quote movies.
Yeah, definitely. Nobody here is that good looking, you know?
Not even with doctored photos.
Right. Hey, at least we're not catfishing anybody.
Yeah.
So.
I might hatfish, but I won't catfish.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bar.
Yeah. So, Sal, you got anything to say?
I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm very proud of everybody at this table. I love you guys. One thing that really capped 2024 for me was that Big Bear trip because it put into perspective for me things that I want in my life and goals that I want to attain. And what I quickly realized is there is no shortcut to success. If you want really hard to obtain it, that's it. There's no fast pass or fast lane. Like there's no substitute for doing the work. Complacency, stagnation, a lack of effort, a lack of movement, those might as well be akin to death. Because if you are complacent, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right. So for me, 2025, I have a lot of goals. But it's really going to be about doing the work. That's it.
Fire.
I believe that Warren Buffett says complacency is our.
Mic drop.
Complacency is our greatest enemy. Because, I mean, if you're just sitting there, then you're not, nothing is going to come to you. You know, nothing usually comes easily, right? You got to work for it. So, yeah.
And with that said, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate every view, every comment, every like. We see it all. Continue to follow us in our journey. I promise you it will pay off. We're going to get better. It's going to, we're only going to improve from here.
Yeah.
So
shout out to South Bay for making us.
Shout out from the South Bay.
South Bay would love.
Local.
Shout out to all the viewers.
With an honorary mention to Lakeside.
The early viewers.
Yes. There's nothing better than
being
put on something early and watching it blow up and being like, I remember watching them when nobody, really cared. So
I think we all appreciate you guys and we all love you guys.
Yeah. So thank you. Happy New Year. We'll see you guys in 25, bigger and better.
Hallelujah.
Jay-Z didn't do it.
Jay-Z didn't do it. The Rock.
The only L's we take are lessons.
Bars.